It's not working. All right, I have to get Cam over. I'll see if Cam will come over tomorrow. Thank you. You're on your own, Kiwan.
I'ma make you mine tonight, pulling your hair, baby. I feel you breathing on me, on you. Know that I'm a selfish lover, when it's mine upon, and track mine for it, for you. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need, baby. Tell me about your dreams. Tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, do it, do it. Body's never overflowing. My favorite toy story. Hope he was chasing me. Would he? Let me be a fantasy. Swiss on the king, they call me. Come find the key, baby, baby. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Bet you love me before I go. I don't think I can let you go. I don't think I can let you go. Bet you love me before I go. Tell me what you want, tell me what you need, baby. Tell me about your dreams, tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Tell me what you want, tell me what you need, baby. Tell me about your dreams, tell me everything, yeah. Do it, do it, do it. I'll do it, do it, do it, do Tell me what you want, tell me what you need, babe. Tell me about your dreams, tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. Tell me what you want, tell me what you need, babe. Tell me about your dreams, tell me everything, yeah. Do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it.
Oh, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? How's everybody doing? Hold on. Let me do this. Okay, how y'all doing today? How's everybody feeling today? Um, Getting a lot of messages, a lot of emails. I appreciate you guys' concern. Um, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just took a little time off screen. Um, Being off screen gave me a little time to look inside the screen of others. And I watch it, like I tell you guys. You said that's adorable. I like that bunny, girl. I like that bunny. Yeah, just to see, from the outside looking in on other people's thoughts and of course the circus show, what you guys are looking at. When I have time, I catch it and I look at it as well. I'm going to come on the screen in a minute. I just like playing with this darn freaking bunny because it's so cute. Um, a lot of times that I am not on screen is because I feel that there may be more information that you guys are looking for from other channels. I feel that it was enough of the circus event out here. So I wanted to see if Pap, the person that is being accused of attacking people or doing this, well, if I fall back, well, what would happen? And I so happen to notice out there that, if I don't have my crazy opinions on some things, that it got a little quiet, huh? So, if you don't give a shit show, then I guess it can't be a shit show, without Pap crazy opinions. So I just wanted to see how that would play out. And it's kind of quiet, with the shit show out there, but that's kind of what I do over here, is to, indulge myself in some of the things that I just like didn't agree with, or felt that, okay, this is some shit show stuff. So, and if you know me by now, you'll know that I like to laugh and things like that. But shit been crazy this past week. No, it's been crazy though. Hey Rita, hey Sugar Baby, Kimberly, Lavelle, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, Miss AP? Girl, I was like, let me pour up me some wine with Miss AP over there on Black CEO Entertainment TV over there. I was able to kind of sit up for pretty much all of his commentary. So shout out to CEO on the other side that brought a live and a lot of voices out with attorney. Yeah, I hate to even say attorney, because now that, looking from the outside in at attorney Griggs, I believe his name, and after reviewing and looking at a lot of his Q&As that he has had the opportunity to do so for the savages over there, you can clearly see that this, in my opinion, was not an attorney that lives by the guidelines of integrity from the law, with the law, using the law. I think that he allowed himself to be taking a cue of people to publicize himself, make his name a lot bigger, but not having the integrity of saying, what the law says it's supposed to do. There's an oath that attorney took, and that oath was, I feel like it's treated as the same as when you're going to court. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? But out of the things that I've kind of read and the videos that I see him on, I'll have to say, I think he held up his left hand with his fingers crossed and not his right hand, because with the representation that he allowed himself to indulge in for the Savages out here, for their daughter, Jocelyn Savage, I think that it was a little bit overreached, unnecessary, because of the age that she was and the choice that she made to be in dwelling in the house of Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. And that's just how I feel about that. And, somewhere I think that Griggs had an opportunity to raise the flag up and say, you know what, I can't do this. Your daughter was not kidnapped. Your daughter was safe. Your daughter lived, uh, for the time that she was around Kelly, it appeared to be that she lived some of the good life of what a lot of ladies will probably never see in a lifetime to have, the good hair, the good shoes, the good shopping, living in mansions and riding on tour bus or whatever you call that thing, a sprinter, a whole bunch of things. Got to do a whole bunch of things, and even aligning herself with different people, learning different things, learning new language, learning, how to walk in heels or be at attending different concerts and eating different food and things like that. It's very saddened that they took this whole situation and flipped it to made it be one of the worst experiences that they will have. I know some people, because you have them out there that looks at it with the relationship. It shouldn't have been that you can't go in this room or you can't eat that today, or I don't like that you is wearing this skirt, or things like that, to make those things align with what does not exist, which is the law. It wasn't against the law for their boyfriends of their choice. Mr. K, this was their choice. And I'm hearing all of these ladies steady say that, we with him, this is our man. But I guess that they wanted their man the way that they wanted him. And to my understanding, and from what I've been looking at, they wanted Mr. Kelly with no rules, just no rules. I know that queen over there. We're going to get on the queen for a minute. I'm going to stay on a little bit as long as I can tolerate, you guys. I don't care to go into a situation of mine at all. For my absentee of not being on my live stream for a couple of days. All I can say is that I will share with you guys that I am good. And if I'm not good, I'm going to get good. I'm going to get good. What up, you digging me, Brenda? What up, you guys? So, I think that this whole scenario has become one baffling situation. I've been here and I've watched a whole lot, just like you guys, since 2019. The Walk for Kales, initiated with the ladies from the One Papoose channel, along with myself, never intended to be clearly out in the forefront of this, oh God, what do I want to call this, of the situation with Mr. Kelly, because I knew that it was going to be way and beyond out of what I can do or anybody can do for Mr. Kelly, and never intended to take the limelight, the shine off of Mr. Kelly, to put my name or the walk for none of that in front of that man. He was always supposed to have been the only name, the only character, the only label, or the, human out in front. All of the attention should have just been on him. And later on down the line, once you saw the months go by and then the years go by, I watched how everybody took Mr. Kelly's limelight, sacrifice it to themselves and put themselves out in front. So it was then where I started to get completely turned off about the situation. And I fell back. I'm not gonna, I didn't want to read any more paperwork. I didn't want to, I just didn't. It was like, who are you people? That's all I used to be like, who are these people? Anyways, shout out again to Black CEO. Griggs did show up in the chat, but he would not attend the panel. He was objective and subjective to a few questions that came in. A few of them I can tell that he intended to avoid them because he is an attorney. You know how that goes. You don't want anything that you say to be held against you, which there is a couple of phrases or comments that he did make on some interviews out there that I'm sure he regret that he says it, because these people will not let him up off of it. And one of them was, why did he say that, all of the ladies were of age, and we can elaborate, or we can state many more of the things that he did say. You gonna catch the rabbit. So what up, Lisa Jones? What's going on, Kimberly? What's up, everybody? So I actually, that was the longest that I have set up in a week to watch some commentary out here. Other than DJ, I sat on his a couple of days before I ended myself over there as well. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think Black CEO is probably going to be waiting on a response from Mr. Griggs over there, which we all know now that I guess he's part of the NAACP. And we know that NAACP has put their name out here as far as the type of work that they have chosen to do for our humanity out here. I guess whether if you are a male or female, a Black American, I guess is what it's supposed to stand for. I don't get all into these bunch of different organizations. I treat organizations no differently than how you would analyze a person, him or herself, without even being in the organization. We watch all of the political people come out and take a stance and tell you what they're gonna do or what they can do and what they will do. And next thing you know, you give it some time, boy, we out here raising hell on what they didn't do and what they did say and how they said it. And so I don't know. Griggs clearly shows that he lost his integrity when he got involved, and I don't know how he got involved. I don't know the background to how they reached out to hire Griggs for an attorney for them. My instinct is telling me that he took it as pro bono. I don't think that they paid, and I think that for exchange, it brought him publicity to his name. He found a way to stand out himself. You'll never find him where he says that he was wrong at saying this and he was wrong at saying that. In Black CEO chat, he went to elaborate on that Mr. Kelly, will have his days in court, or he'd have been a trial, or we'll see this. Of the questions that I was seeing coming up in there is the reason how he got there, though. When you sat here and said a few things that he just should not be there, we can hear, we have watched this whole thing play out that has Mr. Kelly in this situation. I'm not taking any accountability from Mr. Kelly that he uh, thinks that he should have or he shouldn't have. That's up to Mr. Kelly. I never came out to indulge myself into saying whether Mr. Kelly was guilty or not guilty at all. It didn't matter to me about that part where the government put out or brought out so many detailing events about this man's life. I didn't care to know about the sexual parts of his life and so on and so forth. I was particularly watching what the law is doing. That's why I sat this long watching what's going on out here in the YouTube streets. I've been listening to a lot of, let's see the readings. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put the last motion up on the screen, and I'm just going to read through it so that there's some understanding. I'm trying to make understanding of it, and it appears that there's a memorandum on the sentencing that is approaching Mr. Kelly coming up here in June on or how the guidelines of his sentencing will be imposed according to the charges that the government, the prosecution is offering out there. And it looks like that Jennifer Bunjean has some problems with the number counts on there. Are they doubling up number counts to get to a certain amount of years for Mr. Kelly? And she's scrutinizing it very well. So I guess there's going to be a part two, and as she should. This is her job, and her job is to respond or open up every avenue to set her stage, which is called strategy, on how she will deal with this after the sentencing, if there is an appeal for Mr. Kelly. So it's been, this one here is interesting though, because I just kind of want to read through it just to, just put my little sugar and spice on some things that I read. And I was like, okay, Jennifer, attorney Jennifer Bungie. I was like, okay, and she's saying what should not be, and or if she can agree with that and what's not. She's talking it in this motion about how they have not proved still a lot of things. She's touching on the bribery, she's touching on the counts for the racketeering. I have not clicked on to go and look at the actual guidelines of sentencing, and I'm not gonna do it because it's a lot of work, but somewhere I guess there's a guideline that says that you will impose this number account may equal to this number of years or this or that. But what I do like about her is she's definitely backtracked and scrutinize in depth of what she feels they have not found Mr. Kelly in any criminal activity, and that's her job. She wants to make them prove it, but of course they just steady repeating everything on paper is what I see. And if that's her strategy, then that's her strategy. So you have not heard from the judge about motion 29, guys? No, wait a minute, let me see. Nothing else has been responded so far. So shout out again to Black CEO. Shout out to all of the people that were in the chat over on Black CEO with attending Griggs in the chat and trying to get all of your questions in and things on that, but there was nothing really clear from him, and he's never going to state that, if he made a mistake or, yeah, all integrity is gone. So you say the 14 to 17 years should not be. Kels is innocent. Too much evidence from the liar's mouth all over the internet. It's everywhere though, isn't it? Let's start with the funny stuff though first before I put this paperwork up on the screen. And I'm just going to read the paperwork and probably stop, here and there, because I'm not going to sit here that long. First and foremost, I want to know how you guys are doing tonight. If everybody is doing well in the chat room tonight, go ahead and put a heart in the chat room. I just want to see how everybody else is doing. Don't worry about me. I'm a soldier, y'all. You know that song? I'm a soldier in the army. Oh, yeah. I'm a soldier. For real, for real. So he ran out. Girl, he ran. He was like, okay, that's enough of this. But, I'm going to say this, though, Tanea. Sometimes you will lose a person's attention if you start elaborating on personal feelings. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to bring somebody on, in my opinion, for the Q&A, you have to keep it with the Q&A, the directs on who Mr. Griggs is, why, or, and ask him questions pertaining to everything that you saw him do. But once, this is not just with Mr. Griggs, this is with anybody. Once you take the commentary and the commentary gets turned a little bit, where now everybody, it may want to just point out something personal leads you to your feelings. And if you're talking to in my opinion, a guy like Mr. Griggs don't give a damn about your feelings about your life or Mr. Kelly's life. So at some point, he was going to get ghosts anyway. That was not going to hold his interest, not at all. So you want to keep the people around, and you want to, be able to pull information from a person. You got to stay on that track of why you are here, because the minute you veer off, you will lose that person. So that was bound to happen, on that. So Native, I'm doing okay. Let's just say I'm making it. It's one day at a time right now, and that's that. One day at a time. What up, Keish? What up, Keish? How you doing? So I saw the shit show that went on, that's been going on. I see Bookham is trying to get everybody to come over to his Rumble channel. You say, I had to have some days off, Keish. I had to take some personal days. Let's just say that. I had to take some personal days, and I was very optimistic about coming on here tonight. I'm gonna see how long I can sit and be here with you guys. I'll say that. Most of you guys just have to read between the lines. Just one day at a time with one papoose. That's all I need. And then click, click, clack, clack, bang, bang, I'm back. Yeah, one day at a time. So dealing with something, that's all. But I'm good. Just know that I'm good. Yeah, he's moving over to another channel. The word on the curb out here is something about he's losing some channels. People are hitting his channels. He's not monetized, all that good stuff. Yeah, in your dream, Shannon, where it's gonna come from? Out of where it's gonna come? Who gonna watch it, Shannon? Who? I don't do babies. Mm-mm. I'm gonna come on the screen in a minute as soon as I get this paperwork up on the screen, so that you guys can see that I'm okay. You'll see that I'm okay. Sugar Booger, what's going on with you? Alicia Tate, what's going on? I am smiling right now, whether you guys know it or not. Makes me happy. It makes me intruding with my channel, to see that most of you guys are rough riding this out with me over here by keeping your membership up and rocking your emojis on the channel. So with that being said, I am very grateful for that. That's all. Everything is time and preparation and patience. So I appreciate you guys with that. You said, without getting personal, whatever it is, we will keep you lifted in prayer. And I know I will, Lavelle, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. But one day at a time, one day at a time. One day at a time. It's all good. It's all good. It's so nice to see y'all, though. But I be seeing most of you guys out, getting your laughs on. APZ, what's going on? So yeah, that tickled me pink. I was listening to that with Bookham, and he's moving on, and he's sick of y'all shit, and people accusing him of that, and the back and forth. And I was sitting over here, I watched one show, I was like, oh, this boy, no, he got, how you got he got a lot of guns, y'all. Like, how you got all these guns on these screens, but it ain't like, there ain't no fighter, nothing yet, and broken out. I'll be in the bed, tickled pink by that shit, y'all. Like, boy, I don't understand that. Like, you got all this darn manpower over there, and all his resolution was, he's gonna move over to a different streaming. He blames it on YouTube. YouTube sucks, and they censor you on this and they censor you on that, and I think that they would have to, so that they don't put themselves in a position of being hit with lawsuits out here, and they're protecting their business, so they just can't let you come on your streams and say and do as you please. I was laughing at, Bookham, because I'm like, now who that Bookham think he's goddamn boss over YouTube? He wouldn't tell YouTube how they should run. Do you know what? It's not that hard if the owners, the CEOs, and all these Bill Gates and all these people can come up with how to develop a freaking a social media so people can live stream. Why can't he go and patent the plan and call us Facebook was brought about with three guys, and they put their heads together and developed a social media platform, and then they had to write out all the rules and regulations. And why can't he go do that? Then you can have it your way then. And the same thing that YouTube is doing, or Facebook does, and Instagram, you're going to have guidelines and regulations and everything else to keep your butt from being sued. But Bookham be want his cake and ice cream, y'all. I be like, boy, YouTube don't owe you jack doodly crap, y'all. None. Yeah, I got a lot of calls, Keish. I got quite a few emails, and my apologies if I have not responded to you. Like I said, there are some days that caused some incapacitation with me, and so I just needed to have rest, but I'm okay. So yeah, that watching him get belligerent and upset is the most funniest thing ever, you guys. It is so funny. You go over here, and yeah, I watched DJ, and that tickled me pink again after I just got done from laughing. And I'm like, DJ, he's not upset. He shared his opinions about, with Sylvia and all of the money raising that she's doing, bless her heart, I guess, it's a lot of money out here in the world, I guess, but I was reading Jennifer Bonjean's tweet, and she did say that there was none that is needed. She's not to collect any of it, and it was just sitting on her desk. And I was like, well, I wonder what she's gonna do with it. I had to tweet that back. I did put a tweet out there. Is she gonna send the money orders back, or will she move it on? I just pray that there is nothing to come forward that would cause an argument of it being a conflict of interest with I hope not. I hope infamous Sylvia knows exactly what she's doing and believing in what she's doing. So you know what, I'm like, okay, it is what it is. It's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of work, y'all. I'm like, well, it's a lot of work around here. Woo, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm sure somewhere Mr. Kelly, I guess, is gonna appreciate all the work and running back and forth to the post offices and things like that. It might be some, monetary for her. I don't know. I shout out to her, but I have to, I shout out to her, y'all. That's all I'm saying. That's a lot of work, y'all. That's just a lot of work there. Holy shit. But I also listened to one video, and it was Bookham on there. Bookham says, he made like 42,000. Did y'all remember? Have y'all ever heard Bookham say he made 42,000 on his Snap on the super chats? Have y'all ever heard that? Hey, Sheila. Hey, Harlem. Hey, have y'all ever? Because I heard him say it, and I was like, well, Bookham got plenty money, y'all. Bookham was like, he made 42,000 on the super chats. I was like, well, I'd be a rat's ass. I'm in the wrong business over here. But that was crazy. But all of the fights that they do and the threats that they do, yeah, that's tickling me pink too. I don't pay it any mind. I don't pay it any mind when they get to talking about all of the escapade lifestyles out here. Doesn't interest me. None of that shit either. It just don't. Oh, geez. Let's read this paperwork, y'all, because I don't know. Wait a minute, though, because I know Shannon want to talk about his boo, the queen over there, y'all. Now, somebody need to help me out right here, because the queen, I guess, says that she's still trying to touch down in Chicago. And I believe she said something about that, they getting a new apartment, her and her boo thing, Mr. Kelly, that she gonna be still waiting, and that's her man. And now it appears that she's not agreeing with everything that attorney Jennifer Bonjean is doing. It's like she got some words for Bonjean. What up, 312? So, and I was like, well, what's up with this? I thought when Jennifer Bonjean came out that the queen was like really cool, but now she done flipped on her, because it's like, well, you're saying things that you shouldn't be saying, and he's not engaged to Joy, and he's so somebody. What's going on? Because she was for Jennifer Bonjean when Jennifer Bonjean came out. Now it's like she appears to not even want Jennifer Bonjean speaking anymore. Like, I don't know. She also, y'all, listen. drop some information. Now, I don't know how true this is. So this is allegedly. She says that Sylvia knows exactly who she is. Now, I'm gonna have to get old Sylvia over here because we've been trying to figure out who she is, and not that it's important, but it would be nice to know. But she told them that they keep figuring it out. She said that she told infamous Sylvia that she better go sit down or she gonna be coming for her here shortly. I don't know what happened with the fight between her and that Sharon Winbush lady over there. That seemed to have subsided, and it could kick back off at any day now because the Queen is just now coming back out here. I didn't get on my Twitter so I could show y'all what on my other page so I can show y'all. But the Queen been going hard, y'all. She been going real hard over on her page. Like, listen here, he is coming home to me, and everything's gonna change, and this or that. How come? Yes, Keish, they be funny. They do. I'd be like, okay. So I don't know, Keish. I don't know if this is wishful thinking or if it's true. I don't know. I just be sitting out here reading it. She says that she knows everything about Mr. Kelly that, you guys couldn't possibly tell about Mr. Kelly. But then she'll switch it up from singular to plural to she know him, but she speaks like it's more of God that she's talking to. And I'm like, well, who's your man? Is it God or is it Kelly? Because you're confusing me here now. But now her stories have gotten super long, y'all. I got to click off of it and come back to it. But before I can finish the first long story, she done put up another whole long damn story. I'll be over here, listen, Queen, you doing entirely too much because you still ain't got your man. And I'm sure that's a horrible feeling to keep talking superficial about this, and everybody still knows that Mr. Kelly is still waiting for Jennifer Bonjean, his attorney, to help get him freed from being incarcerated. look at Shannon put his fist up, say, this is not what you gonna do. I'm just saying though, she is funny, Shannon. Now, like I say, I don't know if she's telling the truth or not. All I know is she says that Sylvia knows who she is. Absolutely. She said her and Sylvia done been all through this, and she knows. So I don't know, y'all. No, I'm gonna read see if I can go on and read a few of her things. Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing? I feel better on the screen now. The bunny is gone. Let me pull up this paperwork so we can read into it and look at the guidelines or some of these I can say I have not pulled up the actual guideline chart to see if these alleged charges, which is the charges that they did put on Mr. Kelly, is aligned to an accurate point, a scale to determine whether if 12 points is 2 years or 16 points is this many years or 32 points is this many years. I have not done that, and I'm not going to do it at all. What I like to go over is, let me see if I can share this screen here. Is ism ain't no word. I like using ism. I got my desk cleaned off a little bit today though. My face is on there, Pernell. I'm on there. I don't have anything to hide about my face or where I'm at or anything. I'm in the comfort of the basement, and Kiwan is playing the Xbox over there. So You said it looks relaxing. It's a thinker chair. Yeah. I ain't thinking too hard tonight, though. I'm in my chill mode, though. That's all. There's 39 thumbs up on the screen. So if I'm gonna put the paperwork on here that I had to pay for, I'll trade you guys, exchange you guys for the paperwork with the reading just for a thumb up on the screen. How about that? Is that an equal? Can we do that? Can we trade off that away? Can we do that? Or you know what I mean? I will take my nappy head ass back to bed. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll appreciate it though. I paid for this. I'm gonna put it up in exchange for a thumb up. How about that? How about that, you guys? Sounds pretty fair to me. But let's read over it with you. Yeah, let's read over it and see if there's an attorney in the chat room, you can tell us if these points that they're putting is what you know. Oh, Coda Bear is a little down, a little bit to nail. She I think she took fourth in the state. She didn't, these girls came from everywhere in the state, right? You sent the flower lady. So I don't think that she was expecting for anybody to be faster than her. So she's taking it like Michael Jordan took some of his losses, drop your head. Oh man. But for her to have made it to the regionals, she did have one proud mama. I have some nice awards, her medals and stuff that I'm going to be casing for her. She gave it her best shot. She did astoundingly wonderful. I am so proud of Coda making it to the regionals, which she placed first, and she got 3 firsts and 1 second in the regionals. But Thursday was her state. And baby, these must have been some girls came from like out of nowhere, because they ran like they had some firecrackers in their hands, like a dog was chasing them, baby. And I had to explain that to her. She's used to seeing a lot of the girls running here in her area, but now you're talking about state, where she never seen these girls. So you got this state's coming across to this state's, and there's your challenge. And it was bang, bang, zoom, zoom. And I think that she was more in shock, because she knew that she was running the faster times here. But you got them coming from everywhere now, and you don't know what to expect, and you don't know what their times are from a different state or whatever. But I didn't give her. I've given her as many hugs as I can, and I've said, I'm proud of you. I am so proud of her, even with her torn hamstrings and things like that. She really pulled it off, and it ended up raining too. Tanea, it ended up raining on her. So trying to adjust to run at that speed from dry to wet, it's a little bit difficult. It's a mental thing. So, but she was sad, you guys. And just like everybody else, when you lose, you shed that tear. But mama was there, had her back. I'm like, it's okay. I've been there. I've ran track out pretty much majority of my life. So I know what it's like, but yeah. And I think she's still sobbing, but she'll be all right. You say you got a great need for track. Yes. And I love watching track and field. I love watching shot put. I love watching high jump. I love watching all of it. But she was sad, y'all. I was so sad. But now she's going into it's volleyball now. So I think next week she'll be going for practice and training for that. And then I'll be at the volleyball games. I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her. You guys have to know that. I'm proud of the little stanky girl. Let me get this thing up. Now, you guys can feel free to stop me in the chat if you want to elaborate on something of this paperwork. We all know that it comes with the introduction and then, of course, follow up with the argument that was being presented. This is the United States District Court, Eastern District. You okay over there? Versus Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. This is the defendant Robert Kelly's sentencing memorandum, meaning that you guys need to remember this while they random it. They're gonna ran through it. They're gonna random through it, right? We're gonna random throw this out here. That's what they're doing. Okay. Defendant files this preliminary sentencing memorandum in support of his contentions that the guidelines range. I forgot, I'm reading off the paperwork and you guys are on the screen. I'm not going to remember to move the screen. Can you guys see that? Do I need to blow it up? Let's blow it up a little more. Let's blow this up some more. How is that? Defendant files this preliminary sentencing memorandum in support of his contentions that the guidelines range for his convictions is 160 through 210 months. The memorandum in support of his contention that the guidelines range for his convictions is 160, 210 months, no more, no more, no more than that. The defendant further contends that upon consideration of the factors set forth in 18 USC 355 3A, this court should sentence defendants to a below guideline sentences. That's one of her requests. That's just a request on paperwork. She's telling them that it should be. And she's going to tell you why she believes that if you are thinking about sentencing Mr. Kelly, which they have thought about it, it's coming up, it's in June, he will be sentenced. Do it below the guideline sentences of what I guess they came out with according to with their point scheduling, you know. Hey, beauty. Hi, sweetheart. She says here that consistent with this court's order, the defendant intends to submit a supplemental sentencing memorandum on June 13th. So now that they have their interpretation of the guidelines according to what they're charging him with, all of these different counts for the acts for the racketeering and then the bribery, they put on there what they feel should happen, okay, according to their number guideline. She's saying that she's going to come back with a supplemental sentencing memorandum with a readdressing, okay? She's going to come back and readdress what they propose, okay? That addresses, I was on June 13th. That addresses the 355 3A factors with supporting mitigation that sheds light on the history and characteristics of the defendant. Beauty, you know he finna keep up some mess with you, Shed, and be missing you. He be wanting to pick at you. What is the argument? Well, the argument here is a district court should begin all sentencing proceedings by correctly calculating the applicable guidelines range, which should be the starting point and the initial benchmark. That's the Gale versus United States, blah, blah, blah. After a proper calculation, a sentencing judge considers the 7 factors set forth in 18 USC 3553A. The nature and circumstances of the offense and the history and characteristics of the defendant. The 4 legitimate proposals of sentencing is set forth below. The kind of sentences available, the applicable guidelines range itself, and relevant policy statement by the Sentencing Commission. The need to avoid unwarranted sentence disparities among defendants, and the need to provide restitution to any victims. She said that she wanted to point out 4 legitimate purposes of sentencing. She started here with A, in determining the appropriate sentence. The statute direct judges to impose a sentence sufficient but not greater than necessary to comply with the purposes of sentencing. The first one was A, to reflect the seriousness of the offense, to promote and respect for the law, and to provide just punishment for the offense. Number 2, which they have it lettered as B, to afford adequate deterrence to criminal conduct. What's going on, Jason? We are reading this, Jason, and if you want to stick around, and if I'm still around, then we will let you hit the link and you can come on and talk about Sparkle. How about I'm gonna give you the floor? You can ask these people about Sparkle if you want to. Number 3, which is in letter C, is to protect the public from further crimes of the defendant. D, to provide the defendant with needed educational or vocational training, medical care, or other correctional treatment in the most effective manner. I'm gonna go back up here. I want to point out again that the nature and circumstances of the offense and the history and characteristics of the defendant. She asks for after a proper calculation, and the sentencing judge to consider the 7 factors set forth. So she just pointed out 4 of them of what she wants them to consider of the characteristics of the defendant. Okay. The guideline sentence in this case is 160 to 210 months. Well, how did she get that? Looks like they added up what they have on these points, the scaling point that they have. And like I say, you have to go into where she sends you, it tells you, I think it in here, it tells you where you can find the actual guidelines at. Here it's good, 32, 32, 12. What was some other one? 32, and it just goes on, just kind of kept adding it up on there to determine the range of months that I guess they're trying to get to accordingly. Probation sets forth a comprehensive summary of the charges, the convictions, evidence presented in this case. The defendant has already lodged objections in response to the pre-sentence investigation report, including objections to some of probation statement about the government's evidence. The defendant will highlight the trial record in this case as necessary below. The defendant was convicted on 1 count of RICO. Yeah, tell them to hit the link. Hit the link. We want to hear you talk about Sparkle, Jason. The defendant has already lodged objections in response to the pre-sentence investigation report, including objections to some of probation's statement about the government's evidence. The defendant will highlight the trial record in this case as necessary below. The defendant was convicted with one count of RICO based on conduct alleged to have occurred between 1994 and 2018. The base offense level of a racketeering offense is the greater of 19, or the offense level applicable to the underlying racketeering activity, USSG. That's on 28.1-1.1. Application note of the commentary guidelines 2E 1.1 instructs that when there is more than one underlying offense, treat underlying line of, I like that because it has lying, like it's funny. I'm gonna pause, you're gonna see me pause just a little bit here and there. Never mind me, okay? It's just not gonna talk about it, but there's a reason for that, okay? I just can't share it. So under, like they come on with the underlies, you want some points for that too. You want to charge them with the underlies, okay? It's being acknowledged that we got your underlies up in there. I like the word. Where there's more than one underlying offense, treat underlying offense as if contained in a separate count of conviction for the purpose of subsection A2. Defendant calculates the offense level for each racketeering act as follows. The Racketeering Act 1, bribery. We had a whole lot of arguments out here about this whole bribery thing when it came to Aaliyah. Whole lot of them. I saw so many dialogues on Aaliyah, not just over here. It was everywhere. It was all on Google. It was this, and Kelly did this, and Kelly did that, and Aaliyah did this, and Aaliyah didn't do that. And what's the man name? Demetrius, and Demetrius went and got us a signature, and Demetrius and was told by Kelly to pay this person off and get this signed and get this, a whole bunch. So we went through all of that. It did not go away. It is still an argument in Mr. Kelly's case about this whole bribery thing with this Aaliyah thing. They refused to let it go. They knew that they could not use Aaliyah because Aaliyah is not here. They intentionally kept this going to find a charge that they can make stick to Mr. Kelly. How did they make it stick to Mr. Kelly? What did they do? Well, they brought out old Demetrius boy and put him on that stand, and that man sold a story that was just far-fetched to the Scott darn jury over there, and and he boo-hoo cry-eyed, and that's how it happened. He got off the plane and he flew over there, and they did this, and I got the paperwork down there to that, and yeah, and the bribery case, it kind of stuck. I did have that one paper. Oh, I think this might be it. Let me see if I can look through this. I still have that one where they were, the stuff that they had excluded, they had granted and threw out. So I'm gonna keep it moving. Hold on, you guys. I just wanted to check something under the bribery, under the Jane Doe number 1. No, it was a bar, the rule 401. It was granted. J number 1, that was granted. Sexual contact with number 7. The only one that ended up being denied was that one with that one girl 7, that's denied. This one was granted. I just want to see how many was granted. 2, 3, 4. Jane Doe number 8, that was granted. Granted. One of them was granted, but part denied. Sonia, I think it was exposure, Jane Doe. So yeah, I'm gonna reread this, the material where they got into the granted and the not granted of some of the acts against Mr. Kelly. I'm gonna read that again tonight. Anyways, let's move forward. There's A, the Racketeering Act 1, bribery. Jane Doe number 9. I wish Jason get on here and tell the show. The governor and probations contended that a 2-level enhancement is justified on the basis that the defendant used a person less than 18 years of age to commit the offense. As argued in the defendant's Rule 29 motion, the government evidence, Jennifer Bonjean is saying that it failed once again. She's steady saying that they failed to show that the defendant knew that Demetrius Smith paid money to influence a public aid officer to produce an identification card. Can anybody put in the chat room an example of how you think that Demetrius has failed, just like Jennifer Bonjean is saying? They failed. He did not produce anything, any type of evidence. Now, it ruffled my feathers because I'll hear, this reading from other places. I'm trying to stay away from trouble, right? From other places, right? And they'll read it as if they are opposing Jennifer Bonjean for making the arguments that she should be making. If an attorney can imply here on black and white, right? And an attorney, a legal attorney, an attorney that is licensed to do this shit, right? Like nobody else out here is licensed like to do it, but they will take what she says, right? And they'd be like, well, she got to be a goddamn fool, or she this type of person, or she's this type of person. But if the attorney is there and there is discovery, which is called evidence, right? And she hasn't seen it, then why wouldn't she not put it in her paperwork? She says here that the government, has failed to show that the defendant knew that the Demetrius Smith paid money to influence a public aid officer. She failed. They failed at that. So just talking out loud, I like to hear from some people saying what makes the attorney wrong at this? What makes her stupid for saying this? If she hasn't seen anything, she has all right to submit in her paperwork where they failed at. You need evidence to prove your case. And she's saying that it's not there. I haven't seen this. Are they withholding it? Do they plan on showing it back in another courtroom or what? What's the case? I think that if Jennifer Bonjean had seen such evidence that they are proclaiming that they are producing and proving their case, I don't think that she would make this an argument and a write-up. It would clearly make her look stupid to do so. So evidently something is missing there that she needed to see to not have this particular argument. The record is also devoid. And we all know for Jane Doe number 1, she's speaking about Aaliyah. The record is also devoid of any evidence that the defendant used Aaliyah in connection with the bribery. Of course, The bribery committed by Smith committed. Who committed the bribery, y'all? Who committed it? It says that Demetrius Smith committed the bribery, produced this is what she's saying that he did. And, somewhere I would have liked to see, so in that case, and I'm just hypothetically speaking, and then charge Demetrius Smith. Why are you charging Mr. Kelly? And it's only because they are using those few words of coercing and enticing and all of that shit, manipulating. He did all of that stuff. So those are the words that they use to align up to where they feel that Mr. Kelly had some type of mental control over a lot of people in his surroundings. I hate to use the word camp, so I have to say surroundings, So it says here that the bribery committed by Smith produced a fraudulent public aid card for Aaliyah. But it does not follow that the defendant used Aaliyah in bribery. Does not follow that. That's what she said. That's in English right there. Accordingly, defendant objects to a 2-level enhancement pursuant to the USSG. Racketeering Act 2, under letter B, sexual exploitation. Talking about Stephanie now. The government and the probation argued that a 2-level enhancement is appropriate pursuant to the USSG, blah, 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 on the grounds that the offense involved the commission of a sexual act. Now we get to hear, following up behind that, Jennifer's argument. Let's see if they proved any of this. The defendant was found guilty of sexual exploitation based on Stephanie's testimony. But the defendant she testified that the defendant recorded a sexual act with her when she was 17. No, he not, Beauty. Is he? What? Is it? I don't know. I don't know these relations of a family ship tree out here. I don't know. Says that the government, wait a minute, Beauty made me lose my spot. Okay. Testimony that the defendant, this is Stephanie, she testified that the defendant recorded a sexual act with her when she was 17 years old in violation of 18 USC. But the government contends that because sexually explicit conduct, an element of a 2251A violation, it does not necessarily involve sexual act. Now I can switch screens and we can go dig into the element of the 2251 violations. We can look them up and see if that falls underneath that element guideline there. But I don't feel like doing that shit. It's too much work. It does not necessarily involve a sexual act. Jennifer Bonjean must know exactly what's under the 2251A to make it a violation. And apparently it appears that she didn't find that in that element of that 2251. It's because she wrote it up in here. Says that it does not necessarily involve a sexual act. The defendant is subject to a 2-level enhancement pursuant to USSG 2G2 1B 2A. Y'all can write that down if you want. Because he engaged in a sexual act with Stephanie. Well, the defendant disagrees. Enhancing the defendant's sentencing is based on facts that formed the basis of the offense amounts to impermissible double counting. 1, 2. She said he did that. That's one count, another count, or did this. Okay, that's another count. And that's why she's bringing up this doubling counting. She's scrutinizing this counting, y'all. Hold up a minute. Nope, that shouldn't have a count to it. Okay, maybe that's a half a point of a count, and so on and so forth. That impermissible double counting, it occurs when one part of the guideline is applied to increase the defendant's sentence to reflect the kind of harm that has already been fully accounted for by another part of guidelines. Double dabbing, the double dipping. We're going to get a point from over here out of this guideline in this book that's across the street, and then we're going to come over here and we're going to find something similar to that, and we're going to grab something out of this guideline. Okay, that aligns to that. We're going to put that point in there too. But for some apparent reason, this attorney who has been to law school is able to figure that out, figured out their strategy. She figured it out, child. Wait a minute. Where you get that point from? Where you get that point from? Are you over there? You in the Webster Dictionary? Oh, you of the encyclopedia? Okay, y'all, that's 2 points. Now get all your points under one freaking guideline. Don't be jumping all over everywhere trying to sneak some points in. But that has already been fully accounted for by another part of the guidelines. The United States versus the Watkins case, you guys. The only conduct proven by the government, that qualified as sexually explicit conduct, let's see what she says, because she's going to tell you, was the sexual act. Even if the government could have theoretically proved sexual exploitation without evidence of sexual act, it does not follow that the government can enhance the penalty based on the conduct that was already accounted for in the base offense level. Accordingly, a 2-level enhancement is unwarranted. So, and with the guidelines, it appears that she's saying that yes, that it does qualify a point or 2 or 3 up in there with just talking about the, whether it was sexual act. But here they come and they have overreached, add a name to it with the sexually explicit conduct. Does that require another point or 2 or 3? Because they may see it as a different way of naming it. You know what I mean? Like you do the 2-step over here, and if you do the 2-step correctly over here, that's the 5-point merit. Going to merit your 5 points. But if you come over here and you do the 2 steps with the dip swab, that's going to be 5 more. So, but it means the same thing. You double dabbing. You want something for something extra that you done titled in extra, worded extra, and you want something from over here for something that is already pointed, simplified. It's simple right here, but it both means the same thing. So they're reaching for some things that they don't have to reach for. She's saying that it's there. So let's just keep this here. Let's knock it off with a 2-level enhancement. She's saying that it's unwarranted. It's unwarranted. You don't have to do it. Racketeering, we're on number C, Acts 3 and 4, kidnapping, Mann Act violations for Sonia. I'm going to drop the link, Jason, in a minute so you can come up here and talk about Geronda Pace. The defendant was acquitted of racketeering acts 3 and 4 related to Jane Doe number 3. He was acquitted. The government contends that because it could prove these racketeering acts by the lower preponderance of evidence, they could be taken into consideration pursuant to the United States versus Griggs case law. The defendant contends that where the jury clearly found that Sonia's testimony, it was not credible. Hey, Chi-Town. This court should not consider racketeering acts 3 and 4 in calculating the guidelines range. Despite the government's contention, it does not ask this court to consider these acts in calculating the guidelines range. She says that despite the government's contention, it did not ask for the courts to consider these acts in calculating the guidelines range. Meaning start subtracting some shit, in my opinion, because you all tried to push this goddamn this girl through with her lies. So we want some points taken off just for that. I'm just kidding, you guys, trying to cheer myself up here. Okay. Don't take me serious on that Sonia girl. D, Racketeering Act 5, the Mann Act. Here you go, Jason. Geronda, the base offense level 24, adjusted offense level, they left it at 24. So there was nothing really adjusted there. The government urges a 2-point enhancement pursuant to USSG because the offense involved undue influence toward the minor to engage in prohibited sexual conduct. I almost said conduct. Undue influence in the defined guidelines as activity that compromises the voluntariness of Miss Geronda Pace, her voluntariness conduct with the undue influence that compromises the voluntariness of the minor's behavior. The defining characteristics of undue influence is that it involves a situation where the influencer has succeeded in altering the behavior of the target. The government contends that a rebuttal presumption of undue influence exists because the defendant was greater than 10 years older than 16-year-old Geronda when they engaged in sexual activity between May 9th and January the 10th. I forgot where, I don't know where my paperwork is, where I went down the timeline for the SOL for Geronda Pace. So it's probably somewhere in one of these books. I'm not sure if the SOL actually applied to her and when they charged Mr. Kelly in 2019. So you guys got to do the math on that to see if the SOL actually apply. From the readings that I have read on there, can't remember if Jennifer Bonjean actually attacked the SOL individually with each person individually. Not sure, I got to go back in my paperwork, you guys. But yeah, it says here that the voluntarism of Miss Geronda Pace here, saying that she was 10 years older than the 16, that the defendant was 10 years older than 16-year-old Jerronda Pace when they engaged in sexual activity. I want to stop right there just before I get into Jennifer, this argument about Jennifer, about Jerronda Pace. Everybody went back and forth, back and forth. Jerronda Pace, this Jerronda Pace, Jerronda Pace, Jerronda Pace, Jerronda Pace got this ID to get in the courtroom. Jerronda Pace showed up downtown and stalked Mr. Kelly for autographs or for this or for that. Jerronda Pace showed up out at Mr. Kelly's home with this alleged or whoever this Bubba guy is. And Jerronda Pace took all of these pictures, and Jerronda Pace told us the stories on Tasha K about Jerronda Pace, Jerronda Pace, Jerronda Pace. There is, in my opinion, some important people that was missing, not just with Jerronda Pace, but with a lot of these young females that said that they were young back in 98 or 99 or 97, or when Kitty and Sampson and all of those were out there, right? Lanita Carter, right? And, you know, it came out, got really loud out here about, well, where are these parents at, right? And I replay that in my head quite a bit, because if we're talking about this 16-year-old, and I know somewhere in the system, this judicial system that's going on with Mr. Kelly, somebody somewhere feels that it's not important to hear from the parents. And I really trouble wrapping my head around that. You have a 16-year-old or whatever that is out here arguing on behalf of herself. Normally, when it's a minor involved, at least what I thought was normal, if there is a 13, 14, 15, 16, even 17 and 18, hell, even 20, 24. 9 times out of 10, a mama or a daddy would have such a bigger argument than their child, because they will be just as torn and devastated as well. There's been absolutely no write-up on whether if any of these females' parents want to sue Mr. Kelly, want to beat him up. They're not coming to court with their children. I'm not understanding this. Where is they, since they say that they the victims and they're where is their support at in the New York trial? Where was Jerronda's Pace's mother there? Was a grandmother there? Was an uncle there? Was a sister? Who was there? Who was there? Where's their support? I'm lost with this. Why isn't there articles put out from the parents? Or why don't the only ones you did see come out with the crazy scene was the Kramer, what's her name, Kramer, and the Savages and the Clary's, pretty much. I'm talking about with being really loud out here and showboating and stuff. But they're talking about a whole was then has been 16-year-old. Where's the articles and things that of their family members being outraged about Mr. Kelly? I don't know. It's crazy, right? I've been waiting to really see something like that come out. I really have, and that's pretty much why I think I stick around for the most part. Where are they? It's just some weird shit. You would think that out of all of it, ain't no parent trying to sue or do nothing. That one girl, I forget which was the one that got off the bus. The one that got off the bus, remember that? And because she saw Mr. Kelly and she wanted to go over and hey, Kelly, isn't that the one where her parent actually worked in the studio? One of their parents was working in the studio. doing some length of time there. But anyways, let's see what this here argument is here. Contrary to the government's contention, defendants rebukes the presumption of undue influence. The trial record refutes any suggestions that defendant did anything in altering the behavior of Geronda, coercing, intimidating, manipulating, whatever. He says that the defendant did anything, refutes it, of altering her behavior. Quite the opposite, though. Geronda says that she was a sophisticated 16-year-old, took great pains to get close to the defendant, including misrepresenting her age. But the defendant did nothing to seek out Geronda. The government told you guys that he did so. The government told a lot of people that he did so. In contrast, Geronda, she forged a relationship with people in the defendant's orbit. Get out my orbit. Get out my damn orbit. You're in my orbit right now. Get out of it. Not y'all. Y'all stay in, but get out. Right. How did she do that? Well, she falsified by saying that she was 19 years of age. Being 19 years of age would have made her totally legal. We get that. The other people are upset because Mr. Kelly, being in his late 30s, early 40s, it's disgusting. It's not disgusting. Had she really been 19, it would have been okay. But after finding out that, oh my God, she's 16, when no, sometimes you can have 16 and 19-year-olds with the same booby size, figure shape, because it's in the food, it's in the water. It made our younger children now produce a little bit more faster than normally back in the 60s and the 70s. It just wasn't producing so fast. But now we have our children obtaining their cycle here at 12, 11, some at 10 and early 9. It happens, right? But here it says that she falsely told the defendant that she was 19. That's okay. Nobody finds that disgusting, distasteful, or nothing. 19, of 38 or 40, because she's grown now. And that's the perception that Mr. Kelly allegedly, according to all of this paperwork, received. This is how he knowed her at 19. Yes, you grown, you can go. So she says that 19 years of age when they engaged in the sexual contact. However, it is true that Geronda claims that she promptly, like expeditiously, like after the little head touched the skin, like the knife pierced the watermelon. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I'm only 16. And you want to say that Mr. Kelly is at fault with that. Do you know at 16, pubic hair starts to grow? You do know at 16, the breast can be at its maximum amount of fullness. Do you know that if you look at a picture ID which a lot of people try to believe that it is true because you know that you can only or supposed to only purchase them legally at the required places where you pay for it, you show your birth certificate, you do that. So when you show it, it's believable to the people that you producing it to. According to this here, it says that it is true. She claims that she properly confessed her real age at 16. 16. You can't just all of a sudden after the knife then cut the watermelon and you want to, oh, you know what? That's just not right. However, you guys, at that point, and I have to be honest, that is exactly the time that there should have not been any more association because she clearly showed Mr. Kelly distrust, dishonesty, and she should have got booted. Period. She should have got booted, y'all. She should have got booted right there. I'm sorry. She should have got booted. However, even she says that even if this is true, Geronda's testimony, it does not reveal that the defendant used any influence, coercion, undue or otherwise to engage in sexual activity with her. The defendant has been sufficiently punished for this offense, and a 2-level enhancement for undue influence is simply not justified on the facts of this case. Take your point away. This is what she's saying. Just get rid of that point off your guidelines. Let's just get on out of here, because you'll find that she's showing that she is showing where Mr. Kelly did not have any criminal activity once this girl did what she did for this situation to occur, for you to put this point in this guideline. So you say, don't hit the like button. I'm trying to sit up, you guys, and that's as far as I could go into that with me. So just bear with me. And I'm trying to have just a little fun. I have not been laughing and having some fun for a couple of days. So just having some little fun with you guys with this darn 2-point enhancement guideline memorandum paper. Similarly, a 2-point enhancement is entirely unjustified pursuant to USSG 2G3. That's going to repeat itself throughout here. Where the record is devoid of evidence that the offense involved the use of a computer or a cell phone to induce the traveling of the minor, the government points this court to phone logs, random photos, single text allegedly from the defendant, stating, please call. I read this little piece here earlier. As evidence, do you guys consider a text, please call, as evidence to coerce anybody into any sexual activity? Would you guys consider that? Put a 1 in the chat if you do, put a 2 in the chat if you don't. Please call. Please call. Pernell, please call. Does that mean that I am subjecting myself for Pernell to a call and I'm going to coerce him into coming over so that him and I can be sexually active together? Or is it something that they just retched up in their tiny little gluteum maximus to throw out here to look good to the people? I'm just asking for a friend. It's funny how wordplay, y'all. Wordplay. They're gonna, the government is manipulating the people. The government is doing so. They're manipulating the people to get you to believe now that there is another way to show you how you can be coerced into sexual activity with anyone. All you have to do is just text somebody, please call. That's what they have to do. They're gonna have a whole new book written out here, y'all. It's gonna be a whole new wordplay book going on. They talk about how Black people have a crazy ass ebonic shit. That's some ebonic shit right there. Underlay for the overplay right there. Please call as evidence of use of a cell phone to induce traveling. This evidence is what she's saying. It fails to show that the defendant, which you all know who the defendant is, induced Geronda to travel to her home. I don't even know who I was, yeah. The record shows that Geronda traveled to the defendant's home with no invitation. Now, this is Mr. Kelly's attorney, Jennifer Bonjean, who apparently can read and write her ass off, who just took the initiative to write in this black and white paper that there was no invitation at all. So somewhere she sat down and read precisely through all of them freaking text messages that they were putting out, and she couldn't find anything that would remotely deter her to say that it wasn't there. She checked it. Where is the evidence? She says that the government is failing to show that the defendant induced Geronda to travel to her home. And just by a text messages showing please call does not exemplify that at all. Take it off. Throw it away. What's that? What one guy be saying? Throw it away. Throw it away. But somehow they wanted to make it seem as if just by please call means just that. That's what they're trying to say, that's what Mr. Kelly meant by please call. Come over here. That's enticing, I guess. I don't know. Come over where? Where's the rest of it at? The record shows that Geronda traveled to the defendant's home with no invitation and at her own violation. Indeed, the evidence showed that Geronda snuck into the defendant's home. Is that what the evidence showed? Okay. The defendant, he wasn't even in town. So I don't know how you can take a group of people that, let me see how I want to say it. That reads all of this stuff, right? And I get it because they against Mr. Kelly, or they want to keep Mr. Kelly down. When you're telling, when you're reading an attorney that has access to more information than probably anybody out here on the streets. And she sits here and writes in this paperwork that Mr. Kelly was not home. Now, why would she write that? You want to know why she would write that? Because she had to go do her research. She had to go and track Mr. Kelly told his chronological clock. What were you at this time? Well, where were you at that time? As opposed to when Geronda Pace said she was there. So whatever date that Geronda Pace gave up of her being at Mr. Kelly's home because he talked her into it by saying, please call with and the evidence use of this cell phone. That was what was used for her to travel. That's how they track Geronda Pace's travel. But then Jennifer Bonjean comes back behind them and tracks Mr. Kelly's traveling according to what Geronda Pace had initiated to the government of what she wanted them to believe. You say she jumped over that gate. Well, somehow that shit got tracked. When she jumped over that gate and landed in that man's house, his attorney says that defendant was not even in town. Now, if she gonna say that, you best believe she gonna have to show. So there's some evidence. He wasn't in town. He was over on the Golden Gate Bridge. And I'm just hypothetically speaking, he wasn't there. So how could he be over here and then have you over there? You mean to say that Mr. Kelly done enticed you and to make your way over there and stood you up? He never showed up. Is that what her argument is going to be? Well, he told me to come. It ain't my fault he didn't show that, but he told me to come. I guess maybe that's what her argument's going to be. I don't know. It says the evidence showed that Geronda snuck into the defendant's home. Girl, sneaking around. The defendant did not induce Geronda to travel to his house. Furthermore, no records exist to establish the nature of any communication. You don't say. I thought, you mean all that talking and stuff that the government had did, they imposed that there was a whole bunch of communication line between her and Mr. Kelly, the defendant. But his attorney is saying that there is nothing to support the government's argument. She never induced to travel to his house by cell phone communication or any manner. Yeah. Can somebody tell me why she was sitting on the stand? How the hell did she make it on the stand if there was no evidence? How did this no evidence, I'm just asking for a friend, get past the right people? The judge, does the judge know that these people brought her in there with hearsay and they didn't produce any tracking of evidence to support their argument? VIA.com, cell phone communication, if that's their argument, and apparently that's what they stated that their argument was, that there was communication by cell phone between Kelly and Pace. Some paperwork, something is missing. Something is missing. You mean to tell me there wasn't no AT&T, no Sprint, no US Cellular, no nothing? Oh, I forgot on Natasha K's show. Geronda Pace mentioned some old phone. Was it the Jitterbug or something? Some old phone that they, it was a long time ago ass phone that they had not even the blue, was it the BlackBerry, the Blueberry, or some damn phone she mentioned over there. I don't know. Hello, love bug. Hello. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, S. Dukes. How you doing? How you doing? Let's continue. Yeah. The defendant was not even, was not even in town. Indeed, Geronda's testimony does not support, her testimony does not support the government, but the government brought her there. Wouldn't they? You better hope it's supported or somebody gonna be looking like Bubble Gump out here. Arguments that she was ever induced to travel to his house by cell phone communications or any manner. An invitation does not equal inducement. The Second Circuit has made it clear that the terms persuade, there's the four words, induce, entice, coerce. They are words of common usage that have plain, ordinary meanings, not what they're making them up to be. They want to make persuade mean something. They want to make induce mean something, which is what she said was, oh no, yeah, please call. That's induce. Please call. Somebody look that up and see if that's under inducement. I don't know. It might be a book out, y'all. We just ain't purchased it yet, but be careful. Amazon might have a copy somewhere and downstairs with dust on it or something. I don't know, but that would be please call would be inducing. What would be the persuading, entice, and coerce. Those are words of common usage. They just have plain, ordinary meanings. It's the United States versus Wagar case law, you guys. United States versus the Gaglador case law. The court distinguishes this conduct. You say, check in my box. Check my box. My boxily box. Hey, check the box. What box? Oh. Yeah, that's what I got. Ain't that's what I got? Ain't that's what I'm reading? That's what I'm reading. I think. I'm a little unbalanced today, y'all. So forgive me. I'll be back normal in a couple of days. I need a few more days. And I only just popped on here to say hi, but I got into this and just sitting for a minute. But I think that's what I have, right, Nate? The court distinguishes this conduct from merely asking, which is not sufficient to demonstrate criminality. Recognizing that there might be some uncertainty as to the precise demarcation between persuading, which is criminalized, and asking, which is not. The government's evidence failed to show any specific words of persuasion. They did. I'm trying to hang in there simply. I'm hanging, girl. But wait till I log off of here. You know, you could bite your tongue, and I'm hoping that it don't bleed. It's gonna. I'm gonna get through this. The government evidence fails to show any specific words. They did not show any words other than the one that I showed you guys in the bold print up there, which they put under inducement. Thus, even if the government could argue that the defendant asked or invited her to come to his home and told her that someone would pick her up at the train station, that conduct is not inducement. That's what she said. It's not inducement. Telling somebody to pick you up from the train station, especially if you out here telling some, that's my man, and I like him, and he's a great guy, and he's a this. Nah, ain't no time for the conduct of trying to show inducement on his man. But she says, thus, it's a 2-level enhancement. It is not supported by this record. Last, a 2-point enhancement is unwarranted, pursuant to USSG. The government continues to argue that because a violation of 18 USC does not necessitate illegal sexual activity, an enhancement for sexual contact does not amount to duplicative punishment. The government argument is flawed, throw, boo-hoo, buffoonery, get it out of here. Where racketeering Act 5 is premised on a criminal sexual act, namely aggravated criminal sexual abuse under the Illinois Criminal Code. Seems like she was telling them what exactly it is, because they don't know what it is. So she's telling them, and since you guys used it unwarrantedly wrong on here, let me tell you how you should have been using it. That's just kind of what it appears to be to me. To prove the Racketeering Act 5 as charged. In short, she's telling them, I'm okay, Miss Eva. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm a survivor. I'll say that. Thus, any enhancement based on a sex act is duplicative to the charge offense, and the enhancement amounts to double counting. Any enhancement, meaning reaching, adding on, doing more than what you need to be doing. She's calling out their double counting, okay? Which she's, in my opinion, implying that, necessary to do that. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. Just like she said when she first came out, I'm going to show you people on how you are choosing to go against miscarriage of justice, how you are trying to use your powers, overreaching your authority to overreach and causing the miscarriage of justice on Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly. That's, and that's, in my opinion, her whole moral, her whole narrative, her whole point that she is trying to make after motion, after motion, after motion, whatever you want to call them, memorandums, whatever you want to call them. She's making one point precisely, just one. You're overreaching, you're overdoing it. Watch that miscarriage of justice. She's telling them that I know the law. That's what she's telling them, basically. But since she's got to do all this roundabout, because they're doing roundabouts and things like that, sometimes you have to put stuff in a person's only language that they are trying to speak. You understand? It's like speaking donkey to donkey. They get what she's saying. They know it. But it's donkey. Okay, y'all want to talk this donkey talk? All right, I got to talk donkey talk back to y'all. But you're overreaching. You're overstepping your boundaries here with the law. So, she went into Racketeering Act 6 for forced labor with Geronda. The base offense level started at 30. USSG, they attacked on 2. The adjusted level offense, there's another 2 points. So it brought it to 32. As the government pointed out, probation's calculations of the adjusted offense level for this count is erroneous, where the count did not include the production of the child pornography. It didn't. Well, where did they get that point from then, Bunjink? I know you about to tell us. Although the defendant agrees with the government that the base offense level is at a 30, he objects. He who, you may ask, everybody knows who he is, to a 4th level enhancement, to 2A3.1B1. Because, well, why does he object? Why? Why did he object to this 4th level? Jennifer Bunjink about to tell us, y'all. She says because the government's evidence, once again, did not establish under any standard, and standard is like the lowest of the denominator. They didn't even go standard with it, y'all. The minimum. They didn't even prove the minimum of it. Standard part, approved. that the forced labor count involves conduct described in 18 USC, that the forced labor count involves conduct described. So let's see what conduct she's talking about, right? And when you know what conduct is, actions. Did he karate chop her? Did he cut her out? Did he chop a brain open? Are y'all with me on here? Are you with me on here? Because I can go to bed. I can go to bed. I can go to bed. Don't forget to join that membership out there, y'all. Help supports the channel. Thank you. Shout out to the girl Native Beauty, all my mods in the chat room. I appreciate you guys. He objects to the fourth level enhancement pursuant to 2A3, 3.1, B1, because the government's evidence did not establish under any standard of proof that the forced labor count involves conduct described in the 18 USC 2241, A or B. Thank you, Simply. She says, send her over, send her to Russia. As argued extensively in the defendant's Rule 29 motion. I have to go pull up the 29. Did I print that shit out? I have that 29 motion somewhere. Okay, I have to find it another day. I can't, certain things that I just can't do right now. Just can't do it. As argued extensively in the defendant's Rule 29 motion, Geronda's testimony, she described an assault unrelated to any sexual conduct. Oh, she did, huh? Geronda testified that the defendant had slapped and choked her because she was on her phone. Well, nope, that isn't sexual conduct behavior. Okay, so that's the first one. And he didn't believe that she was texting a friend. Non-related sexual conduct. Right there on her first testimony coming from Jennifer Bonjean about Geronda's testimony as she described her sexual conduct that was not sexual conduct right here with this one here. That's not a sexual conduct. He slapped and choked her because she was on the phone. And he didn't believe that she was texting a friend. That was on the R176. I got to go find 176. Geronda testified that after the assault, that she gave the defendant oral sex because he instructed her to do so. Simon says, Geronda's testimony is devoid of any mentioning of threats of violence or acts of force in connection with the oral sex act, meaning that a two-part thing. She described here that, okay, Mr. Kelly criminally had sexual conduct with me when I was on the phone with him, or he mad because I text a friend. But then she comes back to say that, well, it was after the fact of the assault. So she wasn't having any sexual contact during the assault period. She waited to come back afterwards to say that after the assault is when she engaged in the oral sex. He instructed her to do so. So Jennifer Bonjean is separating the difference of when the sexual conduct actually happened. It happened here. Pat, you charge me a late. I am gonna charge you a late fee. You gonna get a whole 50-cent late fee. So she gave the defendant oral sex because he instructed her to do so. The Geronda testimony is devoid of any mentioning of threats of violence or acts of force in connection. There wasn't any acts of threats, violence, force in the connection while she was completing her allegations of having oral sex with Mr. Kelly. She didn't mention anything of it. I probably should keep going for this, but I kind of want to stop. Jennifer Attorney Bonjean's strategy, her right there, separating. She got separated to make some arguments, okay? She got to separate. The previous described physical assault was completed and unrelated to his instructions. That she gave him oral sex. Geronda did not even testify that she feared defendant when he asked for oral sex. She wasn't scared at all. Nope, it was let's get busy time, allegedly. It was happy time then. It was happy time. Happy time. She wasn't disarray, disgruntled, distorted, dysfunctional, or nothing. It was time. I should keep going. Geronda did not even testify that she even feared the defendant when he asked for oral sex, and she complied. Thus, the government claimed that the defendant placed Geronda in fear of death or serious bodily injury is meritless. The government's claim that the defendant put Geronda in fear of death. Death. Yeah, Pernell. Wasn't no more scared, dysfunction. Wasn't no more of that. No. You know, sometimes, Pernell, you only get one shot. You know what I'm saying, Pernell? You a man. You only get one shot. Now, listen, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Oh boy. According to the 4-level enhancement, is unjustified on this record. Take it away. How many points, y'all? Some of them or all of them? How many points? 32. They got 32 on here for this adjusted offense level. They ain't adjust nothing on here. They started off at 32 at the base offense level, and they kept it at 32 with trying to say that Rhonda's testimony should be relevant, it should be valid, and Mr. Kelly should be charged to the whatever number guidelines that there is a maximum. I don't know if 32 is the max. I don't know. I've not looked at the guideline. And her testimony should be believable, and Jennifer Bonjean saying that it is devoid. So how many points, y'all, out of 32? How many would you take away and throw away? Let's keep it moving. The government agrees that there's no evidence. There's no evidence, she says, that the defendant used force in connection with the production of any child pornography, and that a 4-level enhancement is inappropriate. That one jumped to the, okay, child pornography. Defendant objects to a 2-point enhancement pursuant, where the record is devoid of evidence that the offense involved the use of a computer or a cell phone to induce Geronda's traveling. Wow. So she's saying that there's no evidence. We can't find shit of the defendant, AKA known as Mr. Kelly, with any communications of any involvement with Geronda and Kelly pertaining to any computer or a cell phone that would have induced her into traveling. Imagine that. I thought they said all evidence was submitted into evidence, but miraculously, his attorney is not finding it. She don't see it. I don't blame me. I'm pretty sure she went. She thoroughly checked through everything, but yet then here it is as one of her arguments. She arguing it right there. The void. The government. Who we on now? Who is this one here? Jan. Mann Act. G. Racketeering 8. 14, the base offense level came in at 14. Adjusted offense level, they left it at 14. The government concedes that Jan misrepresented her age to defendant when she met him in Florida. What is it with the lying of the ages if you want to be with somebody, y'all? That's just crazy. Misrepresented her age to the defendant when she met him in Florida. That was in April 2015. She kicked off a very lengthy relationship. Long. She kicked off. Notice that it didn't say he kicked it off. It says that she kicked it off. She met him in Florida, which kicked off, I'm sorry. No, it says which kicked off a lengthy relationship. Scratch that off the record, please. No sidebar is necessary. Scratch it. Incredibly, the government seeks a 4 level. She says incredibly like, are you people serious? This is generally like really incredibly like you guys gonna really do this? Like, seriously? All right, come on, prove it to me. Come on, try to prove it to me again. That's Jennifer Bungie, you guys. Come on. Here we go with the roundabout, the overreaching, and all of this alleged coercing and enticing and all that stuff. Let's go. So the government seeks a 4-level enhancement on this count, arguing that the defendant committed a fraud in connection with this Mann Act violation. He committed a fraud because he did not disclose to her, this Jane girl, that he had this genital herpes. Okay, I have a question for the chat because I think that I might have missed something and I'm not sure. Mr. Kelly has been incarcerated almost what now? July will be 3 solid years, correct? July coming up. And all of the allegations came out about Mr. Kelly being with this herpes, diagnosed with herpes and things, right? Did I miss a part where if he needs medication or has a current doctor prescribed, is he under any prescribed medication right now? Does anybody know? Know by hearing it is what I'm asking, because we probably wouldn't know for sure. But does anybody know for sure if there's actually Mr. Kelly been, is he taking anything right now? You do, Miss Eva? You say, where is the matter, man? Mm-hmm. Has anybody heard anything about whether if Mr. Kelly is actually on any medication? Because you do know any type of stress, and I'm sure some of this has been a little stressful for him, not being able to visit or visit his attorneys. It can cause stress. And from the materials that I tried reading, or I've read about it or whatever, it says that stress can be the number one cause of herpes to have a flare-up, right? Something like that. You doesn't have to wait to have sexual contact to have a flare-up. Stress will cause an outbreak, things like that. So with him being incarcerated, you would think that there's some prescribed medicine issued to him and has been documented if he has been diagnosed with this STD, you know. So I don't know. I don't hear nobody talk about that. Not that it's any of our business, or attorney Jennifer Bunting just doesn't share that part or anything, or maybe that's going to be her whammo. And you know, in the appeal, he's not on anything. The doctor didn't tell. Maybe that the cat in the bag for her. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I haven't heard it. And when it comes to the government, and since they kept pushing this issue, like when they be somewhere in their write-up saying, well, we have it here that Mr. Kelly is to take 2 of these 4 times a day, or prescribed here in 2021 in January. They don't have any of that. Yeah, for diabetes, exactly. But they don't even have that. You want to prove your case so hard that this man has this darn disclosed herpes, whatever, or whatever. Well, okay. What medicine is he on right now? What medicine is he on to prevent a preventive? Well, what is he on? You said that doctor act like it was crack. Priscilla Boo, I see you sneaking here. The government seeks to stretch the guidelines beyond all recognition, which explains its failure. Now, that was funny. Y'all should have been laughing at that right there. Did y'all see how she called it out? The government, they seeks to stretch the guidelines like a slinky, stretching it. That woman is at this miscarriage of justice, overreaching of using your authority to overreach in the law to make it fit where you think it, and you know that it shouldn't fit there. Yeah, okay. The government seeks to stretch the guidelines beyond all recognition. Well, this explains its failure to offer any support for its novel theory that the failure to disclose a herpes diagnosis amounts to fraud, either as defined by the federal fraud statutes, state statutes, or under common law. According to the Second Circuit, fraud involves a false representation, scienter, reliance, and harm. That's in the Evans and Alderman case log, if you guys want to read on how they did or did not get away with the falsifying of genital STDs and all that good stuff. Yeah, you'll find that in there. Citing the reinstatement, the second of torts. While there have been a few variations on these elements, harm is always present. I seek in Jennifer Attorney Bunting a big reverse monetary damage award for Mr. Kelly. I do. Ooh, they better watch out for that one. The government evidence, it does not show that the defendant falsely represented anything to Jan, or that Jan relied on any misrepresentations. Also absent in any evidence of harm. You want to know why? Because there is no evidence that Jan was infected with herpes when she traveled to California. Not all them got darn oranges out there. Now, you can't prove that about the oranges of California, because you just bite into them and see if some of them are sweet and some are sour. But according to this, Jennifer Bunting has detected some sour ass shit going on. That's just my opinion. It's just my opinion. with the defendant between April 28, 2015 and May 1st, 2015. She says that there is no evidence that Jan was infected with herpes when she traveled, meaning that they are going to have a very hard damn time trying to get paperwork or a blood test or anything that's going to align with these dates that they said that she traveled between April 28th to 2015. Where are you going to get that from? Dr. Seuss? Where are they going to get that from? If Jennifer Bonjean wants to press the issue of showing me where you claim that Jane says that she got infected during her traveling to California between these dates. She better have a whole goddamn MD goddamn signature somewhere with the actual blood reading, all whatever else goes on that paperwork between April. Well, it should say somewhere between April, probably the 30th. April 30th, my client has been diagnosed with genital herpes. Because you said that she traveled and she was infected with it when she traveled. She wasn't infected with it before April 28th. She was only infected during April 28th and May 1st of 2015, the dates that she traveled. Now, I don't know if herpes got wings on it or not, but apparently they tried to make it seem like herpes, it just bounced out the air on your ass. Whoop, you got herpes. Like it just worked that way. That's how they made it seem. I don't know if herpes got wings, batshit crazy shit. It is some batshit crazy shit right here. Indeed, she says. Well, Jane testified that she did not contract the herpes from the defendant during the trip. Well, what did she say then, Jennifer Bungie? Thus, the government's fraud theory is patently ridiculous. Hey, money, a 4-level enhancement that must be rejected under this theory. She's using their theories against them, the stuff that they wrote up. Attorney Jennifer Bonjean didn't write up the alleged females shit. They said it. She said that. The government replied that, on any misrepresentation, also absent in any evidence of harm. They said that Jennifer Bonjean is responding that because since there was no evidence that you said that Jennifer, that Jan was infected with the herpes as she traveled to California. I guess maybe they asked you to put that damn travel word in there. I don't know. They're the ones as the Einsteins over there, but when they put that travel up in there, they open up a whole new can of whoop ass. Oh, I can't be laughing, y'all. I cannot be laughing. Cannot be laughing. Woosah. Oh, yeah, woosah, woosah. I can't do too much laughing. H, racketeering act, a man act, the violation of Jane, again, a 24. Jane got a whole bunch of goddamn base offense level guideline points on here, y'all, and with the adjusted offense level. And they ain't shifting and changing none of them. Whatever the base offense is, they got the adjusted offense level as the same as well. Okay, let's see what Jennifer Bonjean got to say about this one here. The Mann Act, violation of Jane. The government alleges that the base offense level for racketeering at 9. Oh, let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can remember what. 9 sexual contact with Jane Doe. 7. Tested with the evidence. So argument. You know what I'm starting to believe? I'm really starting to believe that Attorney Donnelly absolutely just denies the stuff because I think she wants to see Jennifer Bonjean put her smoke. I really want to see. I do. Sometimes I feel like that this is why she denies a lot of this. She wants this to all just play out in the court. I think she want to see Miss Attorney Jennifer Bonjean get down. I think she want to see her play out. I do. I just feel that way because if these words are saying what they are supposed to be saying, and I don't see the opposing side of Donnelly, Judge Donnelly, denying so much stuff. Like I think she wants to see it play out. The government alleges that does she get more money or are they on the base pay? I don't know what the judges make up there. The government alleges that the base offense level for Racketeering Act 9 is 32. That's the base offense level for Racketeering Act 9. It's 32, pursuant to USSG. One, it involves sexual exploitation of a minor. Exploit, show it off, do this with it, do that with it, okay? Of a minor. By production of sexually explicit visual or printed material. Oh, this gonna be good. Let me see if they got visual or printed material. Racketeering Act 9 was a Mann Act violation. And therefore, the appropriate guidelines, she's telling them where the appropriate guidelines can be found at the USSG. Let's not misuse them. Let's not overreach them. Let's not change them up, underlay it, or overplay it. Let's go by the guidelines. Okay? Pursuant to USSG, the base offense level is 28. The government alleges that the base offense level for the Racketeering Act 9 is 32. Pursuant to the USSG, the base offense level is 28, where the jury determines that the defendant was guilty of violating 18 USC. The government seeks to convert this offense into an offense for sexual exploitation of a child. So they convert the offense into the offense of a sexual exploitation of a child. Act 932 pursuant USG, which involves sexual exploitation of a minor. Convert this offense into the offense for sexual exploitation of a child. So was the first argument about involving sexual exploitation of a minor, and somewhere they try to convert it now to saying that no, it's just an offense of just only sexual exploitation of a child. That, in other words, there was no minor involved in this sexual. Hold on, this is I'm gonna have to highlight that, John. I mean, hold on, let me have to dig into that one right there. So what page am I on? 20. I got to highlight on my paperwork so when I go upstairs, I got some more digging to. Hold on. Okay. That's hold on, y'all. I got to highlight some shit right here. Hold on. That I got to dig into. Let's see what the difference is with that. With just those two, that statement right there. The government seeks to convert this offense into an offense for sexual exploitation of a child, arguing that the base offense level is 32. But the government fails to explain why this court should not look to USSG. They fail to explain to why the court should not look at the USSG 2G1 1.3C1 as the starting point for correctly calculating the base offense level as to Racketeering Act 9, where the defendant was not convicted of sexual exploitation, but rather a Mann Act violation. They double dipping for real, y'all. They is double dabbing, double roundabouting, doubling everything. I wonder if they confusing themselves. Right here, she's just pointing out in her brief argument where they started out with the base offense level coming in under the Mann Act violation at 32, where she's clearly telling them that they did not want the court to look at the USSG guidelines of what it actually should have been, of what the charge is normally what it was. She says that the charge normally, they started out with the government seeks to convert to exploitation level, but the government fails to explain to the court a starting point for correctly calculating the base offense Racketeering Act 9. The defendant was not convicted of sexual exploitation, but rather a Mann Act violation. So she's readdressing this, which number one, which involves sexual exploitation of a minor. And that's where they decided to put the 30, the Mann Act, the 20, what was it, 28, the base offense level. Well, she's telling them that the base offense level should be 28, had them do correctly to the pursuant to USSG according to a charge of what they first said it was, which was just Mann Act violation. But they had to go double dab and dip into the sexual exploitation and try to change up some things there to induce that number of what they put up there as it is 32. They implied that it was 32 by adding that sexual exploitation of a minor. Jennifer Bonjean broke it down to them, saying that no, it was rather a Mann Act violation and should have been notated under the base offense level at 28, pursuant to the correct USSG. And that's where I'm going to leave that shit at. right there. So defendant was separately charged and convicted of sexual exploitation of a child in connection with video recording sexual activities with Jan during their trip to California. Let's continue. The government theories fails for other reasons. Let's see what the other reasons are. So at the time the defendant purportedly committed Racketeering Act 9, Jan was living with the defendant and engaged in a legally consensual relationship in the state of Illinois. Abruptly, she decided to become a disgruntled female. That's not in there. That's just my little opinion. This is undisputed. No matter how distasteful the government finds it, there is nothing in the record that suggests that defendant brought Jan to California for the purpose of producing a visual depiction of their sexual activity. Like he intentionally brought her there. Hey, we finna film this and we gonna put it out for the world to see. That's what she's saying. He didn't bring her there for that. I thought you was my girlfriend. We lived together. I thought we was going, have good times, go good places, do good things. But obviously, I guess it didn't work out that way. Notably, the government previously argued that the defendant, that defendant's purpose in bringing Jan to California, where it never rains in Southern California, was to expose her to the herpes. Uh-oh. They did argue that. Put a 1 in the chat. If that's what their argument, they initially argued that was the sole purpose of of her being there. And that was she argued that he gave me those hurt things. Yeah. That's what, so she's pointing out they're 2-part arguments, or probably 3-part arguments of what they're trying to do to double stack these points, and also showing them that they failed at the evidence of what they're trying to point out and make factual out here to the courts or the jury or whatever to uphold him according to their sentencing guideline of what they're reaching to have on Mr. Kelly. The government seems to believe that the defendant's purpose in bringing Jan to California is whatever they say it is, depending on what elements it needs to prove. As defendant argued in his Rule 29 motion, defendant's motivating purpose in bringing Jan to California was to have her companionship. Flip the script. Was to have her companionship, even if it included sexual contact. That's just an obvious. It's like a no-brainer. If you're gonna sit here and say that you were engaged in a legal consensual relationship, you lived with a person for a lengthy amount of time, and now you want to fly out because your significant other, whatever, I'm talking to the people in the chat, your wifey, your husband is in a concert, but you want to go see your boo. But you've been living with him over here in Hawaii. But because he's over here now in Afghanistan and you got to fly on out over there, you mean to tell me that you've been sexing and kissing and shopping and walking and stuff over there, but because now you went over there and some things ain't right or whatever, he is coercing you, you were enticed, you was forced labor, you was forced to do this, but you, to me, was doing nothing no different than what you was doing, and that was when you were in the legally consensual relationship in Illinois. The government flipped that shit. Yeah, the government flipped it, yeah. Now we're gonna use this one right here. We're gonna use this. This is gonna get him. As a defendant argued in his Rule 29 motion, defendant's motivating purpose in bringing Jan to California was to have her companionship, even if it included sexual contact. While Jan testified that her relationship with the defendant involved sex, that intimate relationship, it was legal in the state of Illinois. It is entirely illogical to suggest, as the government does, that the defendant had a purpose in bringing the age of consent was 17. Wait a minute, that didn't sound right. It is entirely illogical to suggest, as the government does that the defendant had a purpose in bringing Jan to California to have sex with her, where they shared a home in the state of Illinois where the age was of consent, where the age of consent was 17. Even if the government persuasively argued that the defendant's purpose in bringing Jan to California was to have sex with her, it cannot be said that defendant's motivating purpose or any purpose was to produce a video of that sexual activity. The government knows very well that the defendant travels with Jan had absolutely nothing to do with producing a commercial child pornography. Any attempt to increase the offense level under this theory is legally wrong. The government agrees that an enhancement pursuant to U.S. SG, you guys know the rest, is inappropriate. Accordingly, the adjusted offense level for racketeering Act 9 is 24. Racketeering Act 10, Mann Act violation, Jan again, the base offense level 32. Adjusted offense level 32. The defendant objects to a 2-point enhancement pursuant on the grounds that the offense involved the commission of a sexual act. The defendant was found guilty of sexual exploitation in violation of 18 U.S.C. 2251A. Based solely on Jan's testimony, the defendant recorded their sexual activity in the late 2015. She was 17, almost 18 years old. Notably, the sexual activity that occurred in the Northern District of Illinois was legal conduct. Even if the recording of it was not, the government's evidence turned entirely on Jan's testimony, as the government produced no videos of the defendant and Jan engaging in sexual activity during this time period. What up, Lysol? First, the government should not be permitted to enhance the sentencing guidelines for this offense based on sexual contact that occurred in the Northern District, which apparently they tried to apply it. They tried to apply it, or they're trying to imply it, I guess I should say, that particular base offense guideline to it. Jennifer, Attorney Bonjean, is opposing to it. Illinois, since that contact was not unlawful. The unlawful activity in the Northern District of Illinois was the filming of the contact, not the contact itself. Therefore, this enhancement could only be applicable for any sexual contact. In the state of California. But again, as argued, supra, because the sexual contact that occurred in California arguably forms the basis of the charge offense. It would be duplicative to enhance this offense based on sexual contact. You say why I say it like that. Shut up, Shannon. just zip it. Just zip it. Contrary to the government's argument, simply because sexually explicit conduct does not require proof of a sex act for purposes of demonstrating a 2251 violation, where the government's proof of sexually explicit conduct is the sex act and nothing more. Stop reaching. Hashtag stop reaching. That's basically what she said. Stop reaching. I said it all the time on my freaking channel, right? Stop reaching, because you're only going to compromise, confuse some shit, and then I'm going to have to come and get in your ass because it's some shit that you don't know. You just want to tell what you think you know, and you ain't got what you're knowing right. So it's like, zip it. That's Jennifer Bungie. Like, stop reaching. You're doing too much. Slow your roll. You say he needs some cash app so he can buy him some cream of wheat. I love cream of wheat too. And I think I got some upstairs. So hold on, Shannon. I'm going to send those Pony Express to you. You want apple and cinnamon or strawberry and pecan or some? I don't even eat nuts, but I know it's some apple and cinnamon up there. I'm going to get you some. It says here that sexually explicit conduct is the sex act and nothing more. The government cannot enhance based entirely on a theoretical. Here, the element of a sexually explicit conduct was allegedly proven by Jan's testimony that defendant produced a visual. The jury was not asked to determine whether Racketeering Act 10 was based on the conduct in California or Chicago or both. That's a notation she put down there on the bottom of something that the jury was not asked. They was not asked to determine whether the Racketeering Act 10 was based on conduct or on conduct in California or Chicago or both. Those little notations at the bottom is very important. I love oatmeal too, Miss Eve. I love me some oatmeal, girl. Depictions of their sex acts, the conduct formed the basis of the charge offense and should not also serve as a basis to enhance defendant's sentence, notwithstanding that the government did not need to prove the sex acts established in 2251 violation. Such an enhancement would constitute impermissible double punishment under the facts of this case. The government agrees that the defendant offense level should not be enhanced by 4 levels for pursuant to U.S. SG 2G2.1B4. The government urges a 2-level enhancement pursuant to U.S. SG. She went into B6 on this one, arguing that the defendant stayed in touch with Jan by cell phone in order to induce her to travel to see him. Here comes their argument. The defendant and Jan, they were in a relationship. They lived together and they traveled together. The defendant did not use a cell phone for any purpose other than communicating with his girlfriend. The government and the public may be outraged that the defendant entered into a relationship with Jane. The who is in an outrage, y'all. Can y'all hashtag public, please? The public went into an outrage that the defendant was in this alleged relationship with his girlfriend that goes by Jan in the documents. The public was angry. The public. Yeah, but they let the public inside the business too. Who he believed to be 18. He believed she was 18. Who told that man that Jan was 18 when he was in his 40s? The public made that decision on their lives of what was disgusting or immoral or right or wrong and good or evil and all of this shit. The public did this. The government and the public may be outraged that the defendant continued his relationship with Jan after learning that she lied to him about her age, even though in the state of Illinois, the relationship was lawful. But once she left that state there, all hell just broke loose out here. Whole bunch of people. I'm not going to go into the names because you guys saw a few names out here that was causing disruption in her relationship with her guy. Mommy. Oh, and I was sitting in the back of the court and I was looking up beside his head and he was fine. Mommy. But the government is clearly attempting to artificially enhance this sentence by ignoring the true nature of the defendant's relationship with Jan. True. She announced it. It was all over everywhere. That's my nigga. Fuck that. Fuck y'all. All that shit and fightings and all this kind of crazy shit. She proved that was her nigga. You were my man. Now, got to the public, got to other people perceptions or feelings and things and sent the buku crazy. I think it was the hookah. I don't know about y'all. I think it was all that damn hookah too. She was doing entirely too much partying and too much, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people talk about Drea and how she was out and she loved to do this and do her own thing. Well, hell, the Jan wasn't too far from it, honey. Jan was ready to hit the clubs every night if she could, not even keeping in mind that you're dating a celebrity. So when you're dating a celebrity, there comes limits of your extracurriculum activity outside or who you could be around, because not only will you bring harm, danger to yourself, you can bring harm and danger to that man or inside your home. Somebody could follow her ass home, shaking them tatas from the club and put her at gunpoint and walk in the house and stick them up. You know what I'm saying? You can't just freelance with a celebrity. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Hell, you seen The Bodyguard? That bodyguard wasn't letting nobody get close to Whitney Houston till he was getting the hots for. I knew they was gonna bump. I knew it, y'all, when that movie came on. I was like, What was his name? Farrell. What was the guy name? And The Bodyguard, y'all, and Whitney Houston. Ooh, I knew that. I knew something was gonna steam up in that mirror. First of all, he kind of crew. He was crew, and then he safeguarding all of that. Well, Thatcher. Was it Thatcher? Fletcher, right? What? Oh, Fletcher was a crazy guy. I don't know which one it was. I don't know. I knew it was gonna pop off with them when it came with the music, native. The music told me so, girl. I was like, Whitney ain't gonna be able to keep them panties aligned up with this security band walking around like this. What gonna happen? But I like The Bodyguard. Kevin, baby, hard love. I was like, okay, Kevin, you curled in here, but I stick to what I know, and that's my Black African American guys, that's what I stick with. But girl, he defended that woman, honey. I'm sorry. Mr. Kelly should have had him a real G.I. Jane, get back. If the defendant had not traveled with Jan to California on an isolated occasion a couple of months before Jan's birthday, her 18th birthday, and had not video recorded his sexual acts with Jan, there would have not been no racketeering acts as to Jan whatsoever. You got that? I need it, Shannon. I need to get me a copy of The Bodyguard. I love that movie. I love the movie. Her singing is just right up in there, silhouette. It's good. He saved our ass plenty of times. So I think it was the sister, wasn't it? A sister in the movie, the hard head, causing all kind of shit. Got Kevin Costner going into action every goddamn 20 minutes of the damn movie. He got to do something. But I love that movie. But it cannot, let's see here, y'all. Let's finish this. The government is free to feel moral outrage about defendant's relationship with Gene, but it cannot enhance the sentencing based on factors that ignores their own evidence. And what is their own evidence? They was in a goddamn relationship. It was legal over in Illinois. She lived with him for a long length of time. Ain't no telling, if they started, all that damn picture taking or whatever didn't start then. So ain't no need of bitching about it now. It's basically what I'm saying for Attorney Jennifer Bungie. Go sit down somewhere. Stop overreaching with this little old ass relationship and wanting something, making more of something out of nothing. She said she was in a relationship plenty of times. This is my man. I'm in my relationship. We in a relationship, but she told Gail now, we in a relationship. It wasn't until then she went on out there, twinkling, toeing around and hearing a bunch of this and a bunch of that and a bunch of this. I could tell you what, when it came time to when her, and I guess when Joy or whatever was living in one of the apartments and all of that stuff in those apartments, it wasn't no 15 or 20 women up in that darn apartment or in those beds, and where they gonna all fit at? Where you gonna sleep at? I don't know. The government's fiction that the defendant used cell phones to persuade, induce, coerce, or facilitate Jan's travel should be rejected, since it ignores the nature of their relationship entirely. And the base offense level already punishes the defendant for his conduct. The base offense already has done so. According to a 2-level enhancement pursuant to USSG, and B6, you must reject it. Get it out of here. We don't need you double dabbling. First, you want to get them on the part where there was a relationship or the man act alone by itself. Now you want to compound a whole bunch of detailing information of what then happened in the relationship that made the relationship go bad for the government to put these charges on Mr. Kelly. They had a relationship. Get rid of this adjusted level offense bull crap up out of here. Anyways, let's move on. The government now finds it convenient to change its theory. They find it convenient. Jennifer Bungie be killing me with that word. They find it convenient, didn't they, Jennifer? Let's get into how conveniently you don't feel that it should have been. Change its theory of prosecution to suit its sentencing arguments. She said, now they find it convenient. The forced labor offense involves a base offense level of 22. As the government concedes, the heart of its forced labor count is the allegation that defendant obtained labor from Jane forcing or threatening. I was about to say, don't you hate when you're reading and you had a thought and you have a thought? So I gotta interject. And this has nothing to do with the paperwork, but it kind of has something, because for those that is married out there or been in your long-term relationships with your significant others, whatever you want to, however you choose to identify them as, here's your time now to say, you know what, sweetheart, you can start putting the points on your significant other, you guys. Put the points on them. Every time you have sex, because now sex is being identified as labor, it's labor now. So make sure you keep track of all of your times that you're sexing and enjoying the company of your significant ones, and come up with a fun game and charge them accordingly to what you do. I can't go into more further details about them and keep the channel clean tonight. But this is what they're arguing. Labor from Jan. Forcing, or I'm sure it was labor for Mr. Kelly to be, keeping them, up to par, looking like ladies. Now that's some damn labor. Trying to ask what type of hair texture you need and what type of shoes you love. That's some labor as work. You got to put a lot of work into that shit, because a woman can be very picky. They're gonna argue with you about, well, no, I like these. I know you like these, but I want to get these. Oh no, this hair too long, or you should get this hair. Well, this might be. That's labor when you got to initiate your man to play a part of that. The man is under labor. They are. I'm gonna keep it balanced here. I got fight some a little bit for the men. We can put them under labor watch. They listen. They be stressed out doing labor for us. So from Jan's of forcing or threatening force against her in connection with sexual activities with other women and men, none of which occurred when she was underage. As argued in the defendant's Rule 29 motion, there simply is no evidence, even from Jan, that she was forced or threatened with physical harm to participate in group sex acts. Her belated claim that she did not want to participate in such activities does not demonstrate that the defendant forced her to engage in such activities through physical harm or threats of physical harm. That said, if this court concludes that the evidence established that Jan's participation in group sex amounts to an offense of criminal sexual abuse, the government's calculation of an adjusted offense level of 36 would be accurate. Let's reread that. That said, if this court concludes that the evidence established that Jan's participation in group sex amounted to an offense of criminal sexual abuse, the government's calculation of it, she being sarcastic, y'all. This is a very sarcastic. She's like, listen, if you wanted to do, the adjusted offense, she's telling them this is what would apply to it. This would have made your adjusted offense level accurate at the level of 36. But since you were impaired to make it right, to submit your claim of these acts against Mr. Kelly about Jane, inappropriate, inaccurate, or lies, you fucked up the whole thing. Now I got to tell you what it should have been. I think that's kind of, I don't know if I would have told them. I don't know if I would have told them, but she did. She implied it here. But as stated above, here she goes. The government did not establish that the defendant committed an offense of criminal sexual abuse in connection with Jan's group sex acts with the defendant and others, because the record is devoid of evidence of force in connection with those acts. I mean, She's shooting them with double shots. She's telling them what they did not do, telling them what they should have done. And I'm like, so in other, it's the boy. Take it out. I'm doing y'all work for y'all, even though we know it's a probability that here comes Judge Donnelly with this whole denied stamp. You know, they deny. That's what leads me to believe that Judge Ann Donnelly wants to see attorney Jennifer Bonjean's smoke in the court. I think she wants to see this woman fight. I really do. You want him out, you're gonna fight for it to get him out. You know, we all know the process of getting a judge off of its job, and she ain't getting off. I don't care how many mistakes that woman makes up there. It's going to take a lot to get her off just because of her rulings on paperwork, her motions, or whatever of what's being submitted from either side. You know, it's going to take a lot. But Jennifer Bonjean is on this paperwork doing their job and hers. She needs to be triple paid. Sylvia, you get them cash apps and stuff up over there. You might have to make it to the post office, Sylvia, twice a week. Jennifer Bonjean is working, girl, working. I almost think that, you know, she's paid in full. Somebody brought her in, and they didn't bring her in here to half step or to have her with no IOUs. I think that she's getting paid accordingly, but you keep doing what you're doing, don't never, baby, the way she doing day work in her, you might have to, y'all might have to double your channel up to 2,000 a week to get you help pay this attorney here, because she working in overtime. That wasn't right, was it, Shannon? That wasn't right. Oh, I can't come on here because sometimes I ain't gonna do all the way right. Again, the government has no basis whatsoever to seek a 4-level enhancement for fraud based on the defendant's failure to disclose his herpes. Wait a minute, did I just skip a page? How the hell I get on faith? Oh, I did. I'm just saying, Shannon, it looks like her channel might have to kick it up to $2,000 a week. She might have to visit to the post office about twice a week now. That paragraph that I just read right there on this last minute act here, Jennifer Bonjean did their job and her job. She done did two jobs. So I think that Silver should pay her 2 times a week. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's just my opinion. Double up, because Bonjean doubled up on the ass on that one. I ain't lying. Yes, she did. But let's keep it moving, because it's all fun. You raise what you want, do whatever they want, this damn money. I don't care. Now, let's get to faith. The Racketeering Act 12, Mann Act violation. Base offense level 14, adjusted offense level is at 14. Again, she said again, y'all, with her hands on her hip. That's Attorney Jennifer, but Jennifer Bonjean got her hands on her hip like, here we go again. Didn't I just tell y'all once before? But since y'all want to keep going back in circles with me, I'm just going to tell y'all again. The government has no basis whatsoever to seek a 4-level enhancement for fraud based on the defendant's failure to disclose his herpes diagnosed to faith. As argued previously, fraud involves a false representation, scienter, reliance, and harm. That would be Evans and Adamo case law. Oh, hold on. And a refusion connect in there. Another case log since 33, BR 2232, SDNY 2021. They were citing the reinstatement, second of torts. Yeah. You say you went way, way down south. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It says here that breaking scienter up into reasonable, calculated to deceive, and intended to deceive. Who they deceiving, Bungie? Us. Jennifer Bungie, attorney Bungie is like, yeah, you deceiving the people out here, and I'm gonna have to make some corrections to this shit. You said I am not from Tuskegee. You're right. You caught me. You got me, Shannon. Tuskegee, Alabama. You're absolutely right. The government's evidence does not show that the defendant falsely represented anything to Faith or that Faith relied on any misrepresentation. Most importantly, there is no evidence of harm since Faith did not contract the herpes from the defendant. Well, holy cow. Mm, mm, mm. Now, they do know that Faith can, if Jennifer Bonjean has not found factual evidence with her admission right here, you do know that Faith can now come back and possibly, press a little issue with Jennifer Bonjean for lying on her about not having herpes, right? Y'all, you do know that, right? But unfortunately, that has not happened yet. That hasn't happened. She ain't come out and said and show, listen, Jennifer Bonjean, you lying. You know I haven't. Why are you putting these lies out here? She need to pull a TMZ show and and here's my paper and They ain't gonna do that. I'll challenge if Jennifer Bonjean has in her write-up right here in black and white saying that most importantly, the government knows that there is no evidence harm since Faith did not, I repeat, did not contract herpes from the defendant. Now, Jennifer Bungie could be reaching y'all. And if you're saying that Faith has it, then prove it to me. Show us. Where's the paperwork? Where's the paperwork? Show us. Prove it to us. What meds she on? And not them damn meds that she went and sat over there on that man couch on that talk TV show talking about she got some over the counter band-aids to cover it up. Not that. We want Jennifer Bonjean wants the real proof. The real proof. She wants the real proof, not the band-aid proof, not the over-the-counter ointment proof. She wants the real stuff. But she says that Faith testified that after traveling to New York, after, not before, after, and she have seen Mr. Kelly sometimes before she even traveled to New York, allegedly. I don't know for sure. She was diagnosed with herpes type 1 after getting the cold sores on her mouth. And then Bungie got that word after in there, y'all. After. We're going to stretch it. We're going to stretch the word after. 2279 through 2280. Y'all know what that, I got to go back to that. I'm not going to go back to it right now. Nearly 50% of the population has herpes type 1, cold sores. Even the government expert would concede that herpes type 1 can be contracted from kissing. Yeah. The record of this devoid of evidence that Faith suffered any harm in connection with the defendant. Give me a second. Let me get this. I gotta get this person out of here with this sex talk. We ain't doing sex talk. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you. You're on it. Thank you. I was headed over to get it. The government evidence does not show that the defendant. Wait a minute. Hold on. I moved my screen. Okay. The record is devoid of evidence that Faith suffered any harm in connection with defendant's purported failure to disclose his herpes diagnosis to here. Maybe she would say her. As such, a 4-level enhancement under a fraud theory is nonsensical. Number 1, racketeering, Act 13, forced labor. Y'all know the Faith to tell you the minute she went through some forced labor, y'all. Only forced labor I see with Faith, and I don't mean no disrespect or nothing like that, is when she went over, I don't know if that's a MAC foundation on her face, but it looked like somebody really forced that foundation on that face, y'all. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about that, because I've seen a lot of people, funerals, and the morticians, they like to be really, really, obsessed with that thick stuff. And it was really pretty thick. So somebody really labored getting that together. Mm-hmm. The forced labor offense involves a base offense level of 22, as argued in defendant's Rule 29 motion. There simply is no evidence from Faith that she was forced or threatened with physical harm to prove oral sex to the defendant. Faith described an episode in LA, Los Angeles, where the defendant allegedly had a serious conversation with her and then directed her to give him oral sex. She does not describe the defendant using any force or threatening any force. As a reminder, Faith never alleged that she was a victim forced to engage in any sexual contact, and denied the characterizations of her related to the defendant. As such, defendant objects to the government's contention that this conduct involved criminal sexual abuse and that a base offense level of 30 is appropriate pursuant to USSG. That is, if this court concludes that the evidence established an offense of criminal sexual abuse, the government calculation would be correct. However, she's saying that it didn't. Base offense 14, adjusted offense level 14, for the reasons argued in connections with the Racketeering Act 12. No 4-level enhancement is justified under the government's novel fraud theory. I mean, be straight up. Look, APZ, welcome. You got your membership. Thank you, girl. You got it. Appreciate that. The role enhancement. N. The government seeks a 4-level enhancement pursuant to USSG. She's on 3B1(1)A, so that changed, on the basis that the defendant was an organizer or leader of a criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants or was otherwise extensive. So, my tea, y'all. And it's tea, Shannon. It's only tea. There is no alcohol. None, 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 none. No alcohol. The government's evidence showed that the defendant, wait a minute, let me go back here. On the basis that the defendant was an organizer or leader of a criminal activity that involved 5 or more participants or was otherwise extensive. The defendant has argued extensively that the government failed to show the existence of an enterprise. The government's evidence showed that defendant was a famous entertainer who employed many people over the years. Defendant was unquestionably the boss of his employees, but the government falls far short of establishing that he was a leader of criminal activity. Indeed, the government did not even attempt to prove criminal activity of an organization or other employees of the organization. A 4-level enhancement is simply not warranted here. She like, take that shit back over there. That's what she sound like. Take it over there. It ain't welcome here. Get out of here. Minor and custody care, supervision, control of the defendant. Oh, we're almost there. Brazenly, the government seeks to enhance defendants' guidelines range under a theory that Jan's parents entrusted defendant to her supervision. Y'all know we like to talk about this one. Everybody loves to talk about this one here with the Jan's parents. Defendant to her supervision when she was a minor. You say, you changed. I appreciate it. I'm glad you did. I like the support the channel, support the channel. The record shows that Jan's parents directed Jan to lie to the defendant about her age and then encouraged her to seduce him in April of 2015. When she was 17 years old, the real-time text messages between Jan and her mother revealed that Jan's mother wanted defendant to promote Jan's music career by commencing a romantic relationship with him. Again, the government seeks to sanitize the facts of this case, which shows that after Jan met defendant for the first time, she immediately began traveling with the defendant and never returned home. Nothing in the record suggests that Jan's parents objected to this relationship. And you know what? She's absolutely right. I think that the argument that I kept hearing Angelo Clary saying is that, well, we sent her and she was supposed to, and then she got to do the music and she had to do this. And she got with, what was the lady name that did the letter? And all you saw was things coming from them saying that it was okay for her to be there. We know that she is there. We know that she's doing this. But so she made an accurate point here. I never, ever hear them say at any given point of time that they object to the relationship. they never said we didn't want him with her and we hate him. And you don't. All you hear is them talking about how she should have been there, when she should be there, and blah, 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 and what she was there for, and blah, 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 which established a relationship between Jan and the defendant. The evidence shows quite the opposite. Indeed, Jan's mother jokingly told her daughter weeks after Jan, just weeks, not a year, not a month, weeks after meeting the defendant, that her son-in-law was going to be older than her. Jan's mother certainly knew Jan's age, even if the defendant did not. However, if I can interject, attorney Jennifer Bonjean, Jan's mother also and presumably knew the age of the defendant, not just, not, she knew the age of her daughter and she knew the age of the defendant. Jan's mother certainly knew Jan's age, even if the defendant did not. She knew the age of Mr. Kelly as well. Wasn't that hard to figure it out? The record does not show that Jan's parents entrusted defendant with Jan's care as much as Jan was adamant that she wanted to live with the defendant in Chicago. And Jan's parents were eager to support her relationship. Yes, go get it, baby. Yes, our son-in-law will be Mr. Robert Sylvester Kelly, one of the richest freaking R&B singers out here, one of the mastermind production of music that can pull a song out the crack of his ass and make it #1 on the top charts out here. Yes, go be that. Yes, son-in-law. Jan was adamant that she wanted to live with the defendant in Chicago, and Jan's parents were eager to support her relationship with the defendant, presumably because they hoped financial riches would flow to them. It was the defendant who sent Jan home. What you say? Sent her home. He sent her home. Go home. I ain't got time for this. There's too much drama in my Bernie Mac voice. He's stressing me out. I can't be doing all this damn daycare, child care, parent, mother, father syndrome shit. It was the defendant who sent Jan home after Jan had disclosed that she was 17 years old. Regardless, Jan was not a minor in the state of Illinois at the age of 17 when she returned to Chicago shortly before her 18th birthday, as the government contends. As such, an enhancement under this theory cannot apply. That made me think of O.J. Simpson. If it don't fit, it must quit. It didn't fit. OJ put it on. It was snugging. He couldn't. It was forcing. And OJ said, "That bitch don't fit. That damn glove don't fit. I'm out of here." See y'all. But then he messed up and had to come right back, y'all. Because OJ was crazy like that. Okay, so now looks like Jean has submitted the guideline chart. Okay, so we didn't have to go look it up because it's already on here. I didn't make it to the back of the paperwork. As you can see, I'm must quit. That's right, girl. If it don't fit, it must quit. The following chart summarizes the defendant's position regarding the offense level for each group counted. Defendant contends that Racketeering Act 5, 6, 7 should be grouped. They want it all grouped together. This is what she's called double dipping. As should Racketeering Acts 9 and 10, probation agrees. Racketeering Act 1, 12, Racketeering Act 2, 12, 5, 6, and 7, 32, Act 8, 13, Act 9 and 10, counts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 32. Act 11, 22. Act 12, count 6 and 7, 14. Act 13, 12, counts 8 and 9, 14. I don't feel like adding all up. I didn't even calculate. 168 to 210 months. Defendant contends that the combined offense level is 35. The offense level applicable to the group with the highest offense level is 32, pursuant to USSG. The number of the units that the remaining groups represents, the offense level should be increased by 3 levels, 3 units for a total of 35. Because defendant's criminal history score is 1, the guideline ranges properly calculated is 160 to 210 months. Now you have to take that 12 and divide that by all of that, and that'll break it down for the years for you guys. Conclusion. For the foregoing reasons, defendant's sentencing range is 160 to 10 months, as will be set forth in the defendant's supplemental sentencing memorandum. The defendant should be sentenced to a below guideline sentences. So, with that being said, she's giving them the opportunity to do some adjustments, get it correctly, because she don't want to come back and keep stomping and stampeding on their ass. In other words, can you do things correctly? Get rid of the overreaching, get rid of the double dipping, get rid of the convert of words, quit trying to imply what something is not really what it is, and stop magically twirling your wand and hoping that some things are going to slip through her fingers where she's not going to catch it. Her job is to fight for her client, and she is aware that there is an imposing sentencing coming down on Mr. Kelly that she cannot do anything about at that time. It's going to occur. But what she can do is make sure that they issue the right opposing guideline sentencing accordingly to all of these acts of what they claim they have in the guidelines that has been established under the USSG. Get it right, because if you don't, she gonna have to fight a little harder to make sure that they do get it right. If you get it right, then you say whatever you want to say, the 10 years for this or this, and it comes out to the total amount, then that's what she has to go back and, fight for, or take his own, Mr. Kelly, own case to that appeal and get it thrown out. So get it right. That's all she's asking. So I enjoyed you guys tonight. Don't forget to support the channel, you guys. Hit them thumbs up out there for me. I'm hoping to be back on for ladies' night to have some to have a little bit laughter. I just got to get a little bit more rest. So I can stay on for about 10 more minutes if you guys are still trying to type up in the chat room. I haven't read a paperwork in a minute. I don't mind coming on, reading them. Some of them could be long, some of them could be short, but I don't know how many of you guys remember this one. Now this one I'm going to take back upstairs, and this is where, wait a minute, let me put this back together with this. Anybody want to donate me a new binder? I need a new binder because I got 3 binders filled up, and now I need another one, you guys. This stuff is going on, and this is just something that I just want to have for my keepsake. That's all. I had to bring Yeah, I'm gonna take this upstairs. I need to reread this one here on the ones that they denied and granted the charges. That's the one that I want to read over. Jane Doe requested whether she had sexual contact and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna brief myself again on that. Hi, Miss T. London. Hi. Well, I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? Anything particular that you guys want to talk about for a few minutes or no? You know me. I like to laugh. I don't know if I can bring up let me see if I can get let me close out this here. Once I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm done with that. What is this one here? This was the May 23rd. All the defendants Rule 29 challenges. I don't know. I don't want to read this tonight. No, I don't want to read about the healthy, safe law. Once I finish my 3 degrees, girl, you're going to be up there with Bookham if you finish all 3 of those, honey. You all the blinders you need. I need one more big binder. I need one more. So maybe if I go out the house tomorrow, I will think to grab me another one. Where I am native. I am. I just need just a little bit longer. I'm on vacation officially. I am on vacation. So you know that I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation. So I don't technically go back to work until the 6th or the 7th, something like that. So I'm on vacation, chilling and enjoying. I am. Look at Shannon and Beauty Oscar. Listen, y'all, this darn Tender X. Look, don't we have one time 18 plus dates? You should have enough people over there in your dating group stuff over there. You would think that they should have enough. So what's been going on, Miss T. London? What's been going on with you? All right, Jason, here's the link. Come on the channel, turn your camera off, and tell us about Sparkle. How about that? There's the link, Jason. There's the link right there. There's the link. Come on the link and let's talk about Sparkle's niece. Don't forget, you guys, to support the channel. That's how support the channel. Get over, hit my perks over there. Join the membership. Don't forget to do the cash apps when you need it or super chat. Support the channel. Ain't too proud to beg. No, no. Don't forget. One shot, hashtag one shot. You on vacation too? That's right, Harlem. We on vacation together. Whoop whoop. And after this, I think I'm gonna take what do you think about the Juneteenth holiday that they added to the calendar? What do you guys think about that? What do you think about that? Okay. All right, I'll be waiting, Native. I'll be waiting. What do you think about the Juneteenth holiday now? You think Lisa Van Allen was on Surviving R. Kelly? You know what, Jason? You typed real good to Nobody Anything on the DJ channel this morning. Really well. You ain't misspelled one word talking to Nobody Anything. You didn't. Then you come over here, and now I think Lisa Van Allen was on Surviving R. Kelly too. I don't know if I have anything to show and share with y'all tonight, and I think it's because I'm gonna have to log off here in a second. So Make sure you wash them dishes. Jason, we don't need you to. Ain't that Shannon? You remember when that boy came home and Jason got yelled at about leaving that damn cup? I was like, oh Lord, Jason, you better get that damn, you better get you some paper cups, Jason, and throw them in the garbage. Jason been out here a long time, like a really long time, you guys. We have a guest coming on the panel, you guys, which is wow. Pernell is coming up to chill with me for a second. I think. We'll see where he is. I don't know where he is. Let me see. Or he just probably playing. Who knows? Oh, there he is. Pernell is here. Oh, we'll wait for him to get connected. Y'all welcome Pernell on the panel with Pat tonight. Ain't this something? He must be feeling himself. He feeling himself? He feeling himself. It was crazy though, Shannon, because he was like, you can get your ass in here and clean this cup and da. And I was like, oh, Jason, you better call me back once you go clean that kitchen up. I was like, you better call me back. Pernell, can you hear me? We're waiting on Pernell to connect. What's going on? What's going on, Miss Dukes? It says he's connected, y'all. So, Pernell. Yeah, tell Pernell to say something. You say Sparkle will only solve it. R. Kelly talk about her niece. You might hit the link tomorrow night. Well, hit the link tomorrow night. You can't even, you know what, Shannon? I'm starting to notice that you can't even stay up past midnight. I don't know what kind of vitamins you need over there, but we gonna help you out, because I done did 2 late night shows and I ain't seen you stay up late at all for none. We gonna have to work on you. Yeah. You say you jealous. I need me a whole lot of, you got a whole lot of vacation. I'm the one jealous. There go Pernell. What's going on? Shoe shine, shorty. No, we can't hear you. He's working on it, y'all. He's working on it. Lysol, you get high. Lysol is known as you ain't gonna never take his weed from him. You say I've been working a lot lately too. So I don't know. How does Pernell fix his sound, y'all? He's trying to fix his sound. You want to talk about Prima wheat with buttermilk. It's for the erect. Is it really? We can't hear you. He working on it, y'all. You good with me too, Lysol? We ain't never had no bad vibes or nothing. I like your spirit. I think you're funny. I don't know who you are and I don't care, but I think you're funny. Who met Elvis? Rita, who met Elvis? Y'all need to help Pernell get the volume right. Is it turn the volume up on your phone, Pernell? Is your volume up on your phone? Harlem said you might have to go out and come back in. He don't know. You say don't. Beauty ain't lead me off no mountain. You know that's my ride or die up there, don't Shannon. You know if she go, I'm gonna have to throw her a bungee down there to catch herself. I'm gonna have to be some support for her. Harlan said, Harlan said, did you do the dishes, Jason? Oh my God. Pernell, go out and come back in. He trying to figure it out, y'all. It's either his phone. I don't know. Help him out, y'all. Help Pernell out, because I don't know. I'm guessing this is his phone. This is his first time on the live, so he figuring it out, Shannon. You can't. We can't hear you, but we can see you. There he goes. He gone out. Yeah, that's facts, Rita. That is so facts. You know, I just, God, Rita, it still is just unbelievable how unimagining this case is. It's just, I'm still kind of in disbelief about it. I didn't look past recognition of it being like this big, all from one senseless call from Kim Fox, like, come forward, and next thing you know, man, this shit just went crazy out here, to hear Demetrius talk. It was, I'm like, what? And then you got this person talking. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. 30 years. You've been around these people for 30 years. I heard somebody say out here that it was the was it Savages or somebody like that started this whole bonfire, Mr. Kelly. And I was like, I don't know if I agree with that. I would have agreed if they would have said Jim Derogatis. I think that, and Jim Derogatis, I think that Mr. Kelly made notations of that in his thing. He said, Jim Derogatis, you've been after me and you've been doing this for how many long years? That was the name that he called out that has been out here stirring up the pot to get people to start all of these speculations and allegations against him. So you said it's a movie coming out about Elvis. Y'all support that? Y'all gonna watch that? I don't watch that shit. I could have sworn that Priscilla already did a documentary. She walked you through the mansions or his memoir or whatever. They got that thing going on in Texas. What do they call Elvis Place? Like when you go down there, you can walk through it, and think she did. She told the story already. How many times they gonna tell this story about some goddamn Elvis so that they can continue to make it look as if it was morally okay with Elvis and Priscilla, but it's not morally okay over here. That don't make sense. Is this Lifetime, Harlem? Is this Lifetime that's doing this? You was coming back from your cruise when she did that. I know, right? Like, there are so many people that you would want to have answers from, but these people hold these this authority card. You'll never get an answer for it, Hopefully, I mean, I'm wondering even if Jennifer Bonjean can get a precise and accurate answer from Kim Fox, or is she able to retrieve the transpiring of information between Kim Fox and Michael Avenatti? I'm wondering if she'll ever be able to see those things. They sealed a lot of stuff, all it's in the movie theaters, and they want some. It costs $17 to get in the movie theater, and you want me to Graceland? Yes, Miss Dukes, thank you. To pay $17. Okay, Pernell said later. He gonna figure it out, and he gonna come back and try with us later. So, okay, Pernell. I seen the document. What's going to change the fact about that? What's going to change it? Putting the movie out is going. What is it going to do? What perception are they going to try to change with that? It's okay for them to do it, but it's not okay morally for it to have happened over here. I don't know. You got that right, Rita, because she has attorney Jennifer Bunjean, sometimes, not sometimes. If you stick with the law, that is the side that's pretty much is going to win. If you keep trying to manipulate it and overreach it and underlay it, you're gonna end up messing up somewhere along the race. Yeah, you are. So let's see if Pernell got it right this time, y'all. He trying. What time is it? Oh my God, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I know my kids must be asleep upstairs. They must be knocked out. I didn't realize it was this late. Again, thanks to everybody. And you got to echo. You got to put your YouTube on mute, I believe.
I don't know. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, your whatever you're watching the live on, put that on mute. You got to close out the sound thing on there, or turn the volume all the way down on it.
Wait a minute. Let's see.
Again, thanks to everybody. You got to echo.
Okay,
you got to put your YouTube on mute, I believe.
Okay, see, I don't know how to do all of that stuff. I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, your whatever you're watching the live on, put that on mute. You got to close out the sound thing on there, or turn the volume all the way down on it.
See, I never. Okay.
Again, thanks to everybody.
Okay.
You got to put your YouTube on mute.
Well, I'm just going to try to figure it out.
Okay. You gotta close out the sound thing on there, or turn the volume all the way down. You gotta put your YouTube on mute. Just keep working with it, Pernell.
Exactly.
Just keep working with it. See, if you're on your phone, if you're looking at your phone, then turn the volume down on that. If you're looking at it on the YouTube channel on a TV, turn the volume down on that one. One or the other, the volume has to go down.
I'll figure it out one day.
Okay.
Exactly.
Just keep working with it. See, if you're on your phone, if you're looking at your phone, then turn the volume down on that. If you're looking at it on the YouTube channel on a TV, turn the volume down on that one. One or the other, the volume has to go down.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
Okay.
Oh, see, I put it back. Just after, I'll just play with it. See what I'm saying? One day.
Yeah.
I'll get it right.
All right. Well, you're going to have to come back because I got to go.
Yeah, exactly.
So you play with it, then you be the guest on the panel, then we can argue and talk about all this stuff together. And I appreciate you coming up here. Look at Beauty said, Pernell, back to the basics.
Oh, that's right.
Y'all give Pernell a hand clap for showing up here, because a lot of y'all ain't gonna come up here. So Pernell gonna be my guest and co-host on the damn show as soon as he can get it together. That's what y'all do. Now he muted himself. He just muted himself. This damn technology, Pernell, I tell you. And you should know, because I be hitting all kind of buttons over here. I be hitting buttons like crazy. He's trying, y'all. That's, hey, that's effort. He's ready to come out now and start talking on this stuff. Like something ain't right. Look at Shannon. Shannon, what kind of emoji? What the hell is that on your head? What is that? Is that like a hat or something? Everybody that had a student or your child that went to prom and graduation, whatever, congratulations to all of you guys. And I hope you guys have been made proud parents or grandparents or whatever for that. I know it's that time of year. You said, what you mean? I said on the path. Yeah, you did, Beauty. Yes. And you know I be wanting that one back, because that was the fun. Girl, that was fun. That was so much damn fun with that Q&A, Beauty. I miss, that was it Rose? I miss Rose. Was it Rose? You guys have been made proud parents or grandparents or whatever. He still got, he come back with an echo again.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I'm gonna figure it out one of these days.
Yeah. And you know I be well, Pernell, I'm gonna get up out of here.
Exactly.
You get that together, come back, then run as my co-host, and we sit down and talk about this stuff together. Okay, y'all know what? I got to get out of here for real. And it's not because I want to, it's because I have to. Y'all enjoy y'all night. You've been beautiful chitter chatters in the chat. Thanks for supporting the channel. I'm going to take this paperwork upstairs because I need to do this refresher on what was granted and what was denied on there, just to kind of get in the swing of thing. I'm on vacation. So as the days progress, hopefully I'm progressing better with it. I will should see you guys back here for ladies' night, and I have time to think about what fun we want to have over here for ladies' night. But I gotta go. So y'all have a beautiful night. Bye.
Something in the